Welcome to Booked for Two, the podcast where a married couple dives into epic stories, wild worlds, and sometimes questionable romances.
Basically, I'm here for the epic fantasies, dragons, battles, and way too much lore. Think Lord of the Rings meets a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
And I'm here for the emotional chaos. Think smuttier fantasies, heartbreaks, and the moments that make you gasp or throw your book.
She's the heart and soul. I'm the deep dive into every detail you didn't know you needed. Together, we'll tackle characters, plots, and themes one chapter at a time.
So whether you're team lore or team feels, grab your book, get comfy, and let's turn the page together.
Well, last week was a roller coaster ride I'd happily buckle up for again and again.
Oh, you mean the kind of roller coaster that's in a pitch black tunnel with twists and turns you definitely don't see coming?
Exactly. Now, are we ready for our quick recap into last week's episode, chapters 24 through 30 of Throne of Glass?
Absolutely. Last week, Celaena found a secret passage behind the tapestry in her room that led to 3 tunnels.
You mean the tapestry where the stag magically appeared?
Ugh. Keep dreaming, pal.
Yeah, well, speaking of dreams, we met Dorian's great, you get the idea, grandmother, Elena, who, by the way, is kind of rude and cryptic.
Right? She casually drops that Celaena has to save the castle from whatever's killing the champions, then vanishes like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, more champions are either being eaten or sent home from the test.
And in the middle of all that chaos, Dorian and Celaena finally open up about their past. Oh, and surprise, Chaol actually has a sense of humor.
But he wasn't laughing when he noticed Duke Parrington's possibly color-shifting eyes. Creepy doesn't even begin to cover it.
And with the Yulemas Ball right around the corner, it feels like the answers to all our questions might be closer than we think.
So, are you ready to get Cinderella to the ball?
Well, one thing you need to make a good ball poppin' is music. And ladies and gentlemen, are you in for a very special treat? We have a first-time exclusive clip from a Throne of Glass inspired song that is bound to get you in your feels.
Right after, we will do our dive into chapters 31 through 39 of Throne of Glass.
But first, we must do our shameless plug, because without it, we will not be able to reach other wonderful people in our book lovers community. So please be sure to subscribe, follow, and review our show on your favorite podcast listening platform. Your support means everything to us.
Make sure you're following us on social media for behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks, and updates. Plus, every Saturday, Sunday, we'll post the chapters we're covering in the next episode so you can read along with us.
We want you to get to know us. So join us every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central for a live Q&A on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube profiles. Whether you're burning to know more about the podcast, the chapters, or even something random like my go-to snack while reading, spoiler, it's usually messy, but worth it, queso, we're here to chat with you.
Also, we're thrilled to share that stickers and bookmarks are in the works. Whether you want to deck out your water bottle, Kindle, laptop, or keep your place in your favorite book in style, we've got you covered. Keep an eye out. They'll be dropping soon. And trust us, you won't want to miss them.
And starting next week, we'll be posting cryptic messages from our assassins personas, the Keepers of Whispers themselves, Obsidian and Garnet, on our socials. Solve the puzzle and you'll have a chance to win autographed stickers and bookmarks from both of us.
So be sure to follow us and check regularly. We can't wait to see who rises to the challenge. Now, let's turn the page.
All right, everyone, we have a very special treat for you today. This story starts like all good stories do, with a little bit of serendipity. Picture this. I'm scrolling through the Booked for Two TikTok account, as one does, when I hear someone singing the words Glass Castle. I started vibing, then realized, oh shit, in the description, she mentioned she just finished Throne of Glass.
And for once, Scott actually stopped scrolling and listened. And it wasn't Sleep Token this time.
Hey, do not judge me.
There is no judgment about anything Sleep Token.
Exactly.
What he heard was something truly magical. The vibe, the tone, the story, it all felt like it was pulled straight from Throne of Glass. So, of course, he couldn't help himself and he reached out.
I did, and I took a chance. I messaged her to see if we could share her song along with all of you because I knew that you would all love it as much as we do. And here we are. So a huge thank you to Jazz Davis for letting us premiere a clip of her song, Glass Castle.
Jazz Davis is a Nashville-based producer, writer, artist, and backup vocalist. She moved to Nashville at 17 from Minnesota to start her music career. For the past several years, she has toured with country artist Sarah Evans as her backup vocalist and produces for various projects in her free time, while also writing and producing at sync camps with the goal to land a song in an ad, TV show, or movie trailer. She often collaborates with Sarah's daughter, Olivia Evans, and they recently have begun creating music inspired by the fantasy series A Court of Thorns and Roses.
That's awesome.
And I saw it on TikTok, and I am so excited for when it finally comes out. The little snippet I heard was magical. They are excited to finish an album and to eventually branch out to other series as well. While Glass Castle isn't available to stream yet, you can check out her other music on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere you stream. Just search for Jazz Davis.
And do not forget to follow her on Instagram at Jazz Davis Official to stay updated. Now, without further ado, here's the exclusive premiere of Glass Castle. So turn up the volume and enjoy, because I know we're about to. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here we go.
So into the dark I stride. How could you not be petrified? But what scares others draws me in. And through the catacombs I wind. Another's grave could be the start to my life. When I find my freedom, what am I leaving within this glass castle? What have I come to if I start to love you? Something that I swore I'd hate, but it seems I was brought here by fate to this glass castle. And I'll make it shatter, but will I cry after these ceilings that I swore I'd break? Well, something that I need to say.
Okay, so a lot to break down with that song. So first of all, the last thing I noticed, that breakdown at the end, the violins, I don't know if you heard it, like, going up. It almost, so it reminded me of like James Bond GoldenEye. So there's a spot where it's like,
Ooh.
so where it's coming up. We noticed, you and I both looked up when she mentioned like the catacombs, 3 portals. We just did that episode last week.
Yep.
So like that probably be like the middle part of the song, because we're in the middle part of the book right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's absolutely genius. And that part where the glass breaks, that was dope.
Yeah. Interesting. I know we're always talking about breaking glass ceilings, so I'm wondering if that's a metaphor or if we are being told something we don't know about the book yet.
I mean, like she says in the song, so it's something that she grew to hate, but she was brought there by fate.
I thought that was about Dorian, about the Havilions.
So I think that's, well, probably, but also the castle as well, because she was brought there.
Or
by
Adderland,
yeah.
period.
And that's also the part where she meets Celaena, and Celaena says that we were brought here by fate as well.
Yep.
So that's that part of the song. Dude, absolutely awesome job.
Chills.
Jazz.
Yes.
I would stand up, but we are both in our pajama pants right now because we are podcasting. So I apologize for not giving you a standing ovation. You definitely deserve one.
Yes.
So a huge, huge thank you to Jazz Davis for sharing your incredible work with us.
Make sure to follow her on Instagram at Jazz Davis Official and check out her other music on your favorite streaming platforms. Trust us, her talent is worth exploring, as you just heard a little snippet of. That was just a little bit.
So we really, really hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. Please let us know what you thought in our live Q&A that we will have every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central. For this episode, you can come on and tell us what you thought of Jazz. And if Jazz even wants to stop by and say hi, we would welcome that as well.
And with that, we can now turn the page. I really hope she shows up. I would be so excited. But I understand. Busy. I get it.
You ready?
Yes, let's turn the page.
Starting off with chapter 31.
Look to your right. You know that eerie feeling when you wake up and you just know someone's in your room? That unsettling hair on the back of your neck kind of moment.
Oh, yeah, like a monster's under your bed. Do we still believe in that?
I don't hang my foot over the side of the bed, so I'm going to go with I do. Celaena gets that because there's literally someone standing at the foot of her bed. Naturally, her first instinct is to slide her hand under her pillow for her trusty hairpin weapon, because that's just how an assassin rolls.
Yeah, most likely Dorian or Chaol, because they always are in her room at random times of the night.
But they don't usually just stand at the foot of her bed, do they? Do they?
Well, Dorian did when he was hammered.
No, he was still at the door.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, but before she could go into full assassin mode, the figure in her room speaks.
That's unnecessary.
Says Queen Elena's shimmering ghost.
And would be wholly ineffective.
Celaena, understandably, isn't here for midnight hauntings. She demands to know why Elena's visiting her slumber party uninvited. Elena's there with a simple message. You have to win.
Really? Like, we don't know that.
That's the whole point of this. Celaena snaps back, rightfully so, that she's already planning to win, but for herself. Thank you very much. Not for some cryptic queen's agenda. And if Elena doesn't have anything useful to add...
You know what? At this point, instead of the crypticness from the queen, I would almost rather have Chaol or Dorian come busting in, because that I can handle instead of someone cryptically talking to me and me trying to figure out at 2, 3 in the morning, half asleep. What are you trying to tell me, lady?
Speak plainly.
Celaena's not happy with her at all, and neither are we. But Elena doesn't flinch. Instead, she doubles down with another cryptic warning. Keep an eye on your right. Why does this have to be so complicated?
I don't get it.
Oh my gosh, lady.
It's always complicated. But I mean, that's part of the story. It's part of the mystery.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. We're allowed to complain, though, because, but it is
cryptic.
fun if we like the cryptic.
Yeah.
Celaena, now equal parts confused and annoyed.
Same.
Kind of like we are. Glances to her right, where the tapestry still shrouds the tomb. The tapestry where the stag magically appeared. Because we love magic in this family. She looks back to say something snarky. I'm not talking about Genevieve. I'm actually talking about Celaena here. But she did look at me about to say something snarky. Genevieve did so. Celaena looks back to say something snarky, but poof, Elena is gone. Cool. We didn't need more info or anything. Show up, scare the shit out of us, and disappear.
Throw some cryptic stuff at us, and all right, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
fun.
for that.
And fast forward about 2 weeks. Samhain has come and gone. Celaena's still alive, and that's always a win. She has nailed another test. It was knife throwing this time. These tests are worse than the Jake Paul Tyson fight.
That was really sad to watch.
Yeah, and I feel like these tests are hard to watch, too. But another champion bites the dust. Dead, though. So that's another one eaten.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah. So Celaena's running on fumes, juggling cryptic wordmark research, paranoia, field security checks, Dorian's distant relatives randomly showing up, and the constant expectation that a monster claw might drag her under the bed any second. Fun times.
Oh, no, thank you. There's no rest for our favorite assassin, because guess what? It's time for another test. And this time, it's poisons.
Well, now this could get interesting.
Yes. All right. Picture this with me. There are 13 champions remaining. Each of them has a table, I assume, in front of them with 7 goblets on it. Each is filled with a different poison. It will range from mild discomfort to, oops, you're dead.
Okay, so finally, we get a challenge where contestants could die, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. Though the challenge is you line them up from least to most deadly.
Okay.
You sip the one you think is the safest, and if you're wrong, there are antidotes.
Of course.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's going to mess you up, but it's probably not going to be fatal.
Okay, well, that destroys one tinfoil hat theory that I had at the very beginning of our podcast, where I thought the king was just going to off everybody. But
with the poisons,
seems like they're just saving everyone and sending them home. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was one theory. We've got plenty of others.
Very true.
Well, Celaena slips right into assassin mode. She's all business. Smelling, checking colors, dipping her fingernail in, and mentally identifying each poison. She has 3 minutes on the clock and 2 goblets left in front of her. One smells like absolutely nothing, and the other one smells like wine.
Yeah, that's a tough choice.
Mm-hmm.
So by this point, everyone's stress levels are through the roof, and so are ours.
Mm-hmm.
Because one is probably the deadliest poison, and the other one is safe, most likely.
That would be my guess.
To her left, Nox looks like he's about to implode, which is typical Nox. To her right, Halor, the wiry assassin, is staring at her like he knows something, which, fair, he is the poison master after all. Halor plays his hand. He lines up the goblets, wine first, water last, then sneaks a subtle nod in Celaena's direction. Should she trust him?
Do we trust him?
I think so, because Pelor hasn't given us a reason not to.
That's true. Okay.
Cue the queen's cryptic words echoing in Celaena's head. Here we go. Look to your right. You'll find the answers there. Couldn't she have just said trust Pelor?
That would have saved us a lot of stress.
Ton of stress. Now the clock's winding down, and Celaena's no fool. She mirrors Pelor's lineup. Smart.
Very smart.
But time's up. Brullo, barking like a drill sergeant, orders them to drink. Now, who got it right? Was it Nox? No. He's choking down an antidote. What about Big Daddy Kane? Nope. He has to slam his like a protein shake. And then some other poor nameless soul drinks the water. Bloodbane.
Ooh.
And even with the antidote, they had to drag his ass out like death warmed over. See ya.
Eek. Well, good thing she was paying attention. Now it's Celaena's turn. Her eyes on Pelor. Deep breath. Sip of wine. Nothing. No poison.
Oh, good.
No weird aftertaste. Just wine.
Pelor with the win.
Brullo, stone-faced, extends his fist. He opens his fingers. No antidote.
Got it.
Nailed it. And then just to twist the dagger, Pelor. Yep, he's the only other champion who gets it right. The room erupts. Woo!
Yeah. Woo!
Celaena finally cracks a smile and makes Pelor blush, actually.
Oh, that's kind of cute, though.
Oh, it's a very cute little assassin moment. Oh, that was very cool of Pelor.
Yeah. Still, Celaena's not exactly writing a thank you note to Elena, the cryptic shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the mystical warning pulled through this time, but Celaena's got no interest in being anyone's puppet, even if those strings just saved her life again.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about that cryptic warning.
Let's.
Do you think she actually knows more than what she's letting on? Because it sounds like she's also being led there. Like, we've repeated that. Like, she's being led there and Celaena's being led there.
And she's still dead. She's not a ghost. And as we all know, I mean, even though she's not a ghost, but ghost-like things are usually cryptic anyway. So, yeah, they're probably not feeding the information. Maybe the person that's feeding the information wants it to be cryptic.
Maybe it's something she has to figure out on her own.
Okay.
Something like that.
Or maybe it's a trust thing. Like, okay, maybe now she can trust me because, okay, look to your right. Oh, yeah, there's Pelor, saved my butt. Okay, now I can kind of trust what Elena's going to be telling me now.
Yeah.
And speaking of trust, let's go to Pelor.
Oh, Pelor. Woof. Way to come in a pinch. So she would have had the Bloodbane if she had put them the other way around.
Yes, because we were right. We said that one was safe. The other one was the extreme one.
Yep. So Bloodbane. Woo. And with someone her size, because the other person, the unnamed person that probably got taken out, is probably bigger.
But another thing that I didn't think about was Nox. Mm-hmm. If Nox is also her ally, why wouldn't she kind of nod over to Nox? That is kind of weird. I get that, she needs to make the final four. Maybe she's just thinking, well, if Nox doesn't get it, that's at least just one more person out. Even though he's an ally, she would still have Pelor as an ally. So it's all about just keeping your allies close. That's my whole thing.
I didn't really think about that, but I mean, she was cheating. So if Nox wanted to cheat, he could have cheated. And
that is true. I mean, Nox is a thief, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind cheating.
If he wanted to, he could have, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
Here we go. Chapter 32.
Secrets and shadows. Nehemia and Celaena decide to cut their lesson short for a stroll. Every evening after dinner, they split their study time, half on Elway, half on the common tongue. Nehemia's progress is impressive, reading fluently from Celaena's library and perfectly copying letters as demanded by Celaena. But despite the progress, they still favor Elway in conversation.
Nehemia senses something's off and checks in. Celaena waves it away, blaming a late night of reading, but Nehemia doesn't let it drop. She offers her support, reminding Celaena she's here if needed. Celaena hasn't heard the word friend directed at her in a long time.
She probably hasn't had a friend since Sam.
That's most likely. She's been in Endovir the whole time.
Yeah, and the one person who was nice to her got...
Yep, but that word stirs up something dark in her memory. The faint sound of hooves echoes in her mind, a haunting thread from her dreams. She shakes it off, grateful for Nehemia's kindness, and returns the sentiment.
I am intrigued by these hooves, the sound of hooves that she keeps having reminiscence.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We'll have to circle back on that later.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nehemia changes the mood, announcing an invitation from the queen to attend a performance. She wants Celaena to come along as a translator. Celaena declines, but not before Nehemia probes deeper. She has noticed the secrecy, the guards that are always around, and the fact that they lock her door at night.
Nehemia, to me, is the type of person who's very vigilant. So
Yes,
I'm not
she's paying
surprising-
attention.
Yeah, so it's not surprising she notices these things, especially with her friend.
And she's intrigued. She wants to know who is it that's actually afraid of her.
Exactly. Well, she's still in enemy territory.
Well, it's the change in tone towards the queen that Celaena's more worried about. So she asks Nehemia about it. Nehemia explains that she's chosen diplomacy, hoping to make progress for Elwë. And this invitation kind of feels like a step forward, so she accepted.
Suddenly, the sharp sound of barking cuts through their conversation. Nehemia has expertly led Celaena to the kennels. Apparently, she had a great time with the puppies the day before when Dorian brought her. Don't stand between a princess and a chance to play with puppies.
Of course not.
Or me, for that matter.
Yes.
I love a good fluffy puppy.
Oh my goodness.
There's every breed and size of dog in the kennels. But Celaena's immediately drawn to the sleek hunting hounds. She's mid-question about their training when she realizes Nehemia has vanished. She hears another voice and recognizes it immediately, and she finds Dorian and Nehemia practically buried under the weight of puppy joy. Despite herself, Celaena laughs and joins in.
That's when she notices the fifth puppy sulking in the corner. Is he sick? Dorian claims that it just has a bad attitude and avoids everyone, human or canine. Aw.
Aw, poor guy. Sounds like
Aw.
Celaena.
Celaena's unimpressed and blames Dorian for the puppy's sour mood. And then Dorian drops the bomb. If the puppy won't respond to humans, it'll have to be put down. What?
That's the wrong thing to say.
Yeah, Celaena snaps back, saying it just needs its mother. And then she hears that the pups get limited time with their mother, and she is furious.
Yeah, that's cruel.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. We all need our mothers. She reaches into the shadows, scooping up the grumpy fluff ball like it's a royal rescue mission. And after some back and forth, she makes Dorian swear on his crown not to harm that puppy.
Good for her.
I like it.
Nehemia, sharp as ever, doesn't miss a beat. As Celaena scoops up the grumpy fluff ball, Nehemia raises a brow, clocking every teasing glance and flirty remark between Celaena and Dorian. She doesn't say a word, but the look on her face screams, "Ooh, this is interesting." Her amusement is cut short when a guard shows up to remind her of her royal duties. With a regal shrug, Nehemia invites Celaena to walk back with her. Celaena, ever the opportunist, casually extends the offer to Dorian, who's still buried in a pile of puppies. "Maybe I'll see you tonight?" he asks, his princely charm dialed up to 11. Celaena smirks, her tone dripping with sarcasm.
If you're lucky.
As soon as they're out of earshot, Nehemia pounces. She turns to Celaena, eyes blazing with curiosity, and blurts, "Do you like him?"
Celaena, the queen of deflection, rolls her eyes and mutters something vague, but Nehemia is not letting it slide that easily. Of course not. Why would I?
"You converse easily. It seems as if you have a connection."
A connection? I just enjoy teasing him.
"It's not a crime if you consider him handsome. I'll admit I judged him wrong. I thought him to be a pompous, selfish idiot, but he's not so bad.
He's a Haviliard.
My mother was the daughter of a chief who sought to overthrow my grandfather.
We're both silly. It's nothing.
He seems to take great interest in you."
Celaena's head whipped around, her eyes full of long-forgotten fury that made her belly ache and twist. "I would rather cut my own heart than love a Haviliard," she snarls.
They completed their walk in silence, and when they parted ways, Celaena quickly wished Nehemia a pleasant evening before striding to her part of the castle. Oof.
Whoa.
That's rough. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Wow. Later, through that walk back through the castle, Celaena pauses at a window and is lost in thought. She's thinking about running again. She's thinking about taking that passageway and just disappearing.
Yeah, she's sad. I mean, that was a tough question because of her feelings for Dorian.
We'll get into that. Should she disappear? Would she go south? That's what everybody would expect. Or could she go north, which is what nobody would expect because it is winter up there and it's not getting any better. She's debating when there's a shift, a flicker in the window's reflection, and she whirls to find Cain behind
What
her.
the fuck is he doing there?
I don't know, but he's not smirking. He's not taunting. He's actually panting.
What?
His mouth is opening and closing like a fish out of water. His eyes are wide and his hand is clutching his throat.
Hopefully he's dying,
Oh, gosh. Well, that's probably what Celaena's doing.
right? Celaena, ever the picture of compassion like us,
Oh.
sincerely hopes Cain is choking to death.
Yes, there we go.
With all the casual menace she can muster, she asks if something's wrong. Cain, still floundering, scans the hall like a man possessed or haunted. His hands clenches tighter around his throat, but it's the eerie gleam of his ring that gives her pause. Is someone or something keeping him from speaking? Oh, and when exactly did Cain decide to bulk up? The guy looks like he's been mainlining midnight protein shakes and skipping leg day. But Cain bolts like the devil himself is on his heels. He glances back, not at her, but past her, towards something else.
Ooh, I got chills.
Right? Unease settles over her like a second skin. Back in her room, she wastes no time, scrawling notes to Nox and Paylor. Stay in your rooms tonight.
See, she sent a note to Nox this time.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so we're still cool with Nox.
Yeah, okay, we're still cool with Nox. Nox and Paylor are still our buddies.
But
okay.
I guarantee she wouldn't be too upset if Nox would have gone home on the poison test, though. That's still one more person, but she's still
got her friends. You gotta...
Yeah, and speaking of friends, Nehemia. So they're still studying each other's languages, which is cute.
That's very cute. That's lovely.
But they seem to feel more comfortable in Elway.
Yes.
There was a heartfelt moment that you noticed between Celaena and Nehemia, right?
That was very nice. Like, I don't think she's had a friend since Sam. And then whatever happened in Indovir, I mean, you're a slave in the mines. You're not making friends. You're probably making acquaintances just to stay alive, but you're not making friends. So this is the first time she felt like she had a friend like Sam.
And I think that's why the moment that she asked about Dorian, about her liking Dorian in the flirtation, I think that's why that really upset Celaena a lot. One, because, it's her friend asking her this and she doesn't want to be upset with her friend. And two, she doesn't want to fall in love with a Haviliard.
Yeah.
She hates them.
Yeah, that's like her sworn enemy. That's like her nemesis.
Everyone's sworn enemy. Yeah. The king has ruined everybody and everything. And he's the son, whether he's, nice and sly and sleek or not, indifferent.
Yeah.
She's got these feelings now. She's like, I am feeling something for him because of who he is, but he's still the king's son. He's still a Haviliard.
Yeah, he's still got that stain on him because of his name, basically because of who he is. She can't get past that. Oof.
Yeah, and speaking of stain, let's talk about what rhymes with that. Cain. Hey, you knew where I was going. Nice. That was a real terrible segue in. Yeah,
high five across the table.
Across the room. Terrible segue in, but let's talk about Cain. So he shows up, hands around the throat, and looks like he's trying to say something because it said he's floundering. It looks like he's
trying to speak, like he's closing his mouth, like he's trying to say words.
And the ring is glowing.
The only reason I don't think he's not choking, which I mean that is the international sign for choking, but it's because his hand tightens around his throat, like when it seems like he's trying to say something.
Correct. Now, if he was choking, would you give him the Heimlich?
If I am Celaena? No.
Wait, so it took you that long to decide if you would save Cain's life?
Well, yeah, I said yes.
Wait, does that make me heartless?
I don't know.
He's a bad guy. Doing bad guy things.
Is he? What's he doing?
That's a good point. He hasn't killed anybody yet that we know of.
Not that we know of. I don't know anything about him.
And maybe he was trying to warn Celaena.
Yeah.
And someone was stopping him, whoever's controlling the ring.
Yeah.
Okay, so Duke has the same ring.
Yep.
We're tinfoil hatting now, everybody. So please, if I go off tangents, you know why. Tinfoil hat. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Duke has a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Cain has a ring.
Yep.
Is Duke controlling Cain with the ring, or is somebody else controlling both of them?
Ooh.
And that's why he gave them the rings. The king could be controlling them because he is betting on Cain. He even said that. So maybe he gave them the rings and he can control them and shut them up. So the king must know what is killing things in the castle. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's why the king's not there.
And I want to add to that because we saw that Duke Parrington was looking at a similar ring on his hand when he had that creepy shadow like across his face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe the Duke was being controlled then. And that's what Chaol saw.
So maybe it's like a communication device.
Or maybe the Duke was just being controlled, and that's what Chaol saw. That's why he saw the change in his eyes.
Oh,
so the Duke,
like a possession?
What if Duke and Cain aren't bad people, and they're just being controlled?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, tinfoil hat. Everyone's going to love that one. All right, you ready to turn the page?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Like the Great Larry Bird, Chapter 33.
Opium and treachery. Hey,
it's Rumpier! Busted!
Busted! Miss Kaltain was mid-opium session.
Nice!
When Duke Borrington made an unexpected house call. She scrambles to change her clothes and plans to blame the scent, if he notices, on the headaches that she's been having. She hurries into the sitting room to find him looking his usual battle-ready self. Unfortunately for her, the opium is starting to hit.
She's tripping balls. Nice.
Fortunately for us. She fibs about napping and then asks the reason for his visit. He crosses his arms, which she also takes note that are very large, clearly irritated that she hadn't shown up for dinner. She responds that
she's busy getting high.
She responds that she'd been indisposed. Yeah, all right. as the world kept slipping away from her senses.
Yeah, it's slipping even more now that she's tripping. Love it for her, though.
Her hearing dulls entirely as the Duke starts to warp like a Dali painting. She has to interrupt him just to say, hey, listen, man, I'm not feeling well. And he offers to fetch her water or to leave.
Oh, that's gotta suck, having the guy that you absolutely cannot stand show up right when you're about to go on a nice little journey. But her biggest mistake, not having incense, because it said to get rid of the smell. Just carry some incense with you, girl. That's all we're saying.
Do they have incense here?
I'm sure back then they had incense. Oh, they definitely had incense back then.
All right.
She nearly cries out for him to stay, unexpected even for her, but instead she plasters on a mask of contrition, begging his forgiveness for her absent-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
The Duke, ever the charming asshole, corrected her with a sharp edge in his tone. That wasn't the word he'd use, and oh no, neither had the prince.
Oh.
That snapped Kaltain out of her haze like Regina George hearing someone insult her spring fling dress.
Nice.
She straightened herself, all sharp edges and venom like a cobra ready to strike.
The prince said that about me?
She asked, her voice laced with equal parts curiosity and desperation. Borrington leaned in, placing a hand on her knee, gross, his thumb stroking it in a way that sent shivers, but not the good kind.
Oh, double gross.
Yeah. Then came the dagger. Lady Lillian had been with the prince.
What?
Her mind spiraled faster than an unwelcome drunk at a wedding, or an unwelcome uncle at a wedding.
Yeah.
Why had Lady Lillian ever been with Dorian? The Duke claimed ignorance, but Kaltain's paranoia began to bloom, spreading as wildly as the poppies she so adored. Her mind is exploding right now.
Yeah. She sounds like she's having a blast, but trying to maintain because now something is happening and she needs to know.
That poor thing was trying to have an awesome high, and then he comes in with this Lady Lillian shit and just ruins everything.
Well, now she is panicking, and Lady Lillian is moving way too fast for her careful scheming. She considered asking Borrington to remove Lady Lillian, but no, and quote,
"She's a lady, and a man of honor would never harm one of noble birth."
But what if he thought she wasn't a lady?
Ooh, scheming.
And then bam, her headache starts flaring and it steals the breath from her. So desperate, Kaltain throws out some disreputable gossip, suggesting Lady Lillian's background might not be as pure as it seemed. And Borrington pounces on the bait.
"What have you heard?" Feigning coyness, Kaltain kept it vague, urging him to investigate further.
It's our duty as loyal subjects of the crown to protect our prince from such forces.
The Duke nodded, quiet but clearly intrigued. And then it came, the shift. Something primal and untamed surged within her, slicing through the haze of pain like a blade through silk. The poppies and cages dissolved into nothingness, swept aside by a raw, dangerous determination that took root and refused to let go.
Say, what now?
Yeah.
So
she's playing the Duke still.
Yeah. Oof, we have a lot to talk about at the end of this chapter. Now, with Celaena poring over a book on ancient wordmark theories, the door creaks open. The one she made make sound so that she would know people were coming. Her heart jumps. Is it Dorian?
Most likely.
Nope, it's actually Nehemia.
Oh.
She's actually standing just inside the door, but her eyes are downcast, and there's rivers of coal staining her cheeks.
So makeup?
Yes. That's what they used, I believe, for eyeliner or mascara. It's a black.
Oh, that.
Like in the Egyptian paintings.
Oh, that's cool. Did you look that up or just know that?
It's probably a girl thing.
That is definitely a girl thing. That's awesome. I did not know that.
Oh, okay. I was like,
you learn something new every day, even at 21 years old.
Watch, I'll find out I'm wrong, and then that'll be even more hilarious because I'm not a good makeup person.
Hey, I believe you.
Good. Yay. All right. Well, Celaena stands and approaches, asking what has happened at the play that Nehemia was supposed to be at. Nehemia lifts her head and whispers, "I don't know where else to go." Again, Celaena gently presses for an answer and notices the crumpled piece of paper in Nehemia's hand. Quietly, Nehemia whispers, "They massacred them." Who? A legion of Aderlin's army captured 500 Elway rebels hiding on the border of Oakwalled Forest and the Stone Marshes.
Oh, wow.
Oof. Uh-oh.
Nehemia whispered, her voice trembling, but her words cut like a freshly sharpened blade. Supposedly, the prisoners were being transported to Calicula, but when some tried to escape, the soldiers executed them. All of them. Men, women, children. No one spared.
Oh, goodness.
Celaena's stomach churned. A sick, hollow feeling twisted inside her. It was like a scene ripped straight from the horrors of the Hunger Games. The guards flanking Nehemia stood frozen, their eyes glistening with unshed tears. But Nehemia, she carried the crushing weight of her title, princess of a people she couldn't save. For once, Celaena softened, her voice, quiet and raw, offered a simple murmur of sorrow, and that was all it took. Nehemia collapsed into her arms, her grief hitting like a tidal wave. Celaena just held her silent but unyielding, offering a quiet strength as Nehemia's sobs shattered the stillness around them.
What happened to our ceiling?
Sorry, my bad. So,
why'd you have to go and read it like that? Oh my
sorry,
gosh.
I'm so
Wow.
sorry. My bad. All right, let's bring us back up a little bit. Let's talk about Miss Rompier
Oh my gosh.
having
Okay.
herself a grand old time, or at least was trying to have herself a grand old time.
Now, is she trying to have a grand old time, or is she trying to keep those headaches at bay? Is she only doing it for the headaches? Are they causing the headaches? Is her being off of the whatever causing headaches?
I'm gonna go with both.
Is she an addict?
I think I'm going to go with both, and here's why. Because we know it's opium, and as we know, opium is a very addictive drug. Now, I will agree that she probably started on the opium to, get rid of
Alleviate
the
headaches, maybe?
alleviate the headaches,
Okay.
correct. And then she just got addicted. So I think it's both, but I don't think at this point she was feeling a headache. I think this is more of an addiction. She wanted to fly high.
I mean, what time of day is this? Do we even know what time of day?
I don't think it mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is at night because...
Oh, for sleep?
Yeah, because maybe Celaena's in her room
Yeah, that's
looking
true.
at word marks, and Nehemia went to a play. I don't know what time they did plays, so...
Again, we don't know what time that scene changed. It's just a scene change.
I mean, this could be at nighttime, like ready for bed, and she's like, all right, I'm ready to wind down. And he's like, nope.
Yeah, no. I mean, either way, I feel bad because she was going to have a nice trip, whether it was asleep or awake. And then he had to come in and then possibly fire her up about Lillian. Do you think that was on purpose?
I don't even know. There was nothing in the book that indicated that conversation actually happened, but obviously we're not going to hear about every conversation.
She was also tripping balls, too.
But do we believe Borington, or do we think maybe he knows how she actually feels? Because he doesn't seem like a dummy. Maybe he knows how she actually feels, and he's just trying to rile her up to get her to get rid of Lillian. I don't know. I feel like I sailed off into the ocean of tinfoils.
Maybe. That might have been tinfoil.
I lost sight of the land.
But also, Borington is also a duke, and he knows who Lillian is, so he's going to pay close attention to her, so he probably does actually see her with Dorian a lot because he knows that Dorian and, that's his champion. So he knows about the whole thing. Remember, Kaltain doesn't know about the competition.
But why the hell would Dorian even say that? Why is Dorian bringing Kaltain up ever?
That's a good question.
Maybe Duke brought it up. I don't know. Anyways, it's kind of suspicious.
It is kind of sus. It's sus.
It's
a little sus.
It's
Yeah.
sus. Oh, now let's bring it back down again. Oh, wait, no, we got to talk about the something that broke within her.
Oh, that's right.
Was
right.
it magic or is it just like a determination?
Talking
Like,
about these headaches.
No. At the very end, it's like you said something broke within her.
I think that was her rage because whenever she gets upset about something, I've noticed is when she starts coming on with these headaches. Whenever she starts feeling like super strong feelings, these headaches start
But
coming
this
on.
one sliced through. You said it sliced through the haze of pain like a blade through silk. So this feels like a determination that's the headache's still there, but I
see what
have
you're saying.
something else now. Like
Yeah, so not the headaches, that now she's like super determined because of the whole Lillian and Dorian thing.
Yeah, it
Oh,
seems
okay.
like she is
Yeah.
upping her game, and so Kaltain's like, oh no. So now she's like got this extra surge of I gotta go, and I don't know if it's magic or some kind of jealousy or some kind of power over her. I don't know, it's just some kind of interesting the way it was worded. Something primal and untamed surged. Could just be rage.
Well, I think that rage and that primalness in her, since it's not the headaches, she's still a very go get 'em kind of person. Like she's going to go and get what she wants and no one's going to stop her. I mean,
And she wants Dorian.
that's the whole reason why she's with the Duke in the first place is because it got her to Rifthold without her father being there to ruin things, and then she's going to try to weasel her way into Dorian. And then remember it said in earlier chapters that queen is not enough. So something else she wants.
Yeah. And he got her the shoes and she just had to dance.
Yep.
All right.
So enough about Kaltain. Unfortunately, we're going to bring it down a little bit more. I am so sorry, but we have to talk about what happened to the Elway rebels.
Yeah. What is on the paper that she's holding?
Does it say?
No, I don't remember it saying at all. It says, note, she just notices the crumpled piece of paper in her hand. did the queen invite her there to hand her this piece of paper, letting her know?
Oh, yeah, that's probably how she found out was a note. That's probably what was on the paper. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. But let's talk about Nehemia going straight to Celaena so that they are best friends. With something like that happening, especially to your people, the guilt that she must feel, the sorrow.
Well, she doesn't have anyone else. Who else would she go to?
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that because your people were massacred and
by the people surrounding you.
Yeah, by the people surrounding you. So the only person you have is Celaena because you know Celaena has the same hatred for the crown.
All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
I am ready. Let's go. Our favorite chapter 34.
Moonlit misery. Celaena sits in her room, snow drifting lazily outside the window. The clock strikes 11 p.m. and she stretches. A sharp pain grips her stomach. She doubles over, breathing through the cramps.
Uh-oh.
An hour now, and the fire is too far away to offer much comfort, but she refuses to leave her spot over by this window. I mean, if I were in the mines of Endovir, I feel that. All right, why not watch the snow from a window? And then Miss Philippa enters with a cup of tea, ever the comforting presence.
Our fairy godmother, so sweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippa. She's feeling so bad.
And she is gentle but direct, and she actually quietly mentions the tragedy of the Elway rebels, though she praises Celaena for being such a good friend to Nehemia. Celaena thanks her quietly, and Philippa exits.
Yeah, definitely the fairy godmother vibes.
Very much so. I think the prince chose wisely when he said Philippa was good for Celaena.
Yeah, and speaking of chosen wisely, I'm so excited I got this part. Celaena's monthly has returned. Yay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet sign her body is finally bouncing back from the horrors of Endovir. Unfortunately, it's not a gentle comeback. Nope. This one arrives with the fury of a vengeful goddess, and the cramps are absolutely brutal.
As one might expect.
Yeah, so I can't obviously say I know what that would feel like.
I don't know if it's a cumulative thing, but just the few that I used to get before vacancy were pretty rough. So
basically she's not happy right now.
It sounds like she is not doing great right now.
Okay, got it.
Sounds like she gets way worse than I ever got.
Oh, and so guess what? Because the universe loves a great laugh.
Okay.
This is exactly when Kale Chip decides to make an appearance. Honestly, it's like the man has a sixth sense for showing up at the worst possible moments.
And this part is too good not to read directly from the book.
So you are welcome.
Yes. Thank you, SJM.
I heard about Nehemia.
What are you... Isn't it late for you to be here? She asked, pulling the blankets tight.
Are you sick?
I'm indisposed.
Because of what happened to the rebels?
Didn't he get it? Celaena grimaced. No, I'm truly feeling unwell.
It makes me sick too, Kale murmured, glaring at the floor. All of it. And after seeing Endovir, 500 people, he whispered, stunned at what he was admitting. She could only watch. Listen, I know that I'm sometimes aloof with you, and I know you complain about it to Dorian, but he turned to her. It's a good thing that you befriended the princess, and I appreciate your honesty and unwavering friendship with her. I know there are rumors about Nehemia's connection to the rebels in Elway, but I'd like to think that if my country was conquered, I would stop at nothing to win back my people's freedom too.
She would have replied were it not for the deep pain that wrapped around her lower spine.
Oh, God.
And the sudden churning in her stomach.
Oh, Kale Chip's not getting it. Oh, no. Jesus Christ. Here we go. He started looking out the window. Oh, geez. I might have been wrong.
The world began to spin and tilt, and Celaena closed her eyes. She had always had horrible cramping, usually accompanied by nausea, but she wouldn't vomit.
Oh, God.
Not right now. Kale?
It's just that I take great pride in my job.
Kale?
And you're Adderlin's assassin, but I was wondering if you wanted to.
Kale?
She warned. As he pivoted, Celaena vomited all over the floor. He made a disgusting noise, jumping back a foot. Tears sprang up. The bitter, sharp taste filled his mouth. She hung over her knees, letting drool and bile spit on the floor. Are you? By the word, you're really sick, aren't you? Come on, let's get you to bed.
I'm not ill like that.
Well, then in what way? Oh, God, poor Kale. He doesn't know what's going on. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Her face was so hot, she thought it would melt into the floor. Oh, you idiot. My monthly cycles finally came back.
I take my leave. He stammered and bowed. Celaena raised an eyebrow and then, despite herself, smiled as he left the room and quickly as his feet could without running, tipping slightly in the doorway as he staggered into the rooms beyond. That boy was so scared.
He was trying to get out of
my
there
God.
so fast once he realized what was going on. But what was
poor
he about
Chaol.
to ask her?
He was going to ask her on a date.
Ooh.
No, but first, can we talk about how awkward that is? So she just got done dealing with Nehemia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she came in crying on the shoulder. Chaol comes in with all this serious news about how he's feeling about it, how like his whole mind is like switching. And then for some reason, she's also looking sick and he notices it. But for some reason, he thought it a good idea to ask her on a date.
Listen, men are obtuse.
Yeah, we're weird.
Yeah.
He's only 22.
And he's young and he had a mission and he's awkward. So there's no telling.
He's never been around a girl.
There's no telling how much energy he had to muster to actually make that happen. So there was no swaying him from the conversation that he probably ran through his mind at least 3,000 times.
Well, he doesn't have any sisters, right? He just has that brother, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember any sisters.
He's never grown around that. I'm pretty sure there's no women back then in the captain of the guard. So, oh God, this is freaking him out.
Yeah.
He has no idea what to do.
And now poor Celaena's thrown up all over everything.
Yes. Celaena apologizes to the servants for the mess, but they wave her off because they probably understand what she's going through. And she tries to sleep once more.
Also, she's the prince's guest, for lack of a better way to describe it. So they're not going to have her clean up that mess. That's not quote unquote her job, I guess, would be how they would think about it. But surprise.
Let me guess.
Now it's Dorian's turn.
Come on.
You know why? Are you ready for this? He actually bumped into Chaol, knows that she's feeling ill, knows why she's feeling ill, and still chose to make an appearance. She's not in the mood for company, not in the mood for games, and he's like, I'll show up anyways. He keeps pressing and pressing and pressing, and once again, because this part is so hilarious, we're going to read it directly from the book.
And go.
All right. Out, out, out. Leave me be and go womanize someone else. She grabbed a book and chucked it at him. He caught it before it broke his nose, and her eyes widened. I didn't mean...
Uh-oh.
That wasn't an attack. It was a joke. I didn't mean to actually hurt you, Your Highness, she said in a jumble. She just chucked something at
the prince.
At the prince. Punishable by death. Immediately.
Oh, yeah. But he replies, I'd hope that Aderlin's assassin would choose to attack me in a more dignified manner, at least with a sword or a knife, though preferably not in the back.
She clutched her belly and bent over. Sometimes she hated being a woman.
It's Dorian, by the way, not Your Highness.
Very well.
Say it.
Say what?
Say my name. Say, very well, Dorian.
She rolls her eyes.
Did I throw you off there?
No, I was trying to roll my eyes, but got away from the microphone.
You rolled your entire head.
I did.
Is that
I
how you
did.
roll?
I
Wait,
did.
Time out. Hold up the phone.
I totally did. I rolled my
Is
whole
that
head.
how you normally roll your eyes? Have I been missing this the whole time we've been together? Do you roll your whole head when you roll your eyes?
I don't think so. I think I was just trying to exaggerate to be like, I rolled but I moved my mouth. I don't know. Anyways, she rolled her eyes or her head. If it pleases your magnanimous holiness, I shall call you by your first name.
I hate you so much for making me say this. You did not have to stop our quote right there. You could have just said anything else.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
You could have just skipped magnanimous
I could
altogether.
have just said, and then our dear prince notices the book on the table. But no, you got to make me say magnanimous prince.
Come on.
Magnanimous?
I'm sorry. Yeah, see?
Magnanimous? Your magnanimous holiness?
Yes. Ha 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 ha. He likes that one. And then what happens?
Oh, and then our dear prince notices a book on the table, and he most definitely didn't lend her Sunset's Passion.
Oh, that sounds like my kind of book.
Oh, we know where this is going. Dorian picks it up, flips to a random page, and yeah, he was not ready for what he saw.
That is not something you do, especially in some of the books that I read. But that's besides the point.
That's what I did with Akatar. I just picked it up and flipped, and I was like, here we go. We're diving in. And then here we are with our podcast.
Celaena, smirking, offers to let him borrow Sunset's Passion when she's finished. Purely for educational purposes, of course. He has to expand his horizons. Dorian refuses because he is scandalized by this. So the clever girl that she is, she basically pits him and Chaol against each other and with a little reverse psychology. She says, well, I tried to give it to Chaol, but he says, no thanks, I can't take that from you. And Dorian basically takes that as a challenge and snatches it from her hands.
That was very sneaky of her.
I know. I like the reverse psychology there.
Nice. Well, Dorian, officially baited, snatches the book like he's just thrown down a gauntlet at King's Landing. He glares at her, muttering something about her being a demon woman and accusing her of playing him and Chaol like pawns in some twisted chess game.
I feel like that's how you felt when I would let you read portions of Akatar and I kept letting you get sucked into the story or telling you bits of it.
Yeah, you only let me get the spicy parts. You didn't give me the rest of the story, which is what really got me hooked. Classic deflection. He clutches the book close, cover inward. Oh, he's embarrassed. This poor bastard is embarrassed about the book. He clutched it inward. He doesn't want anyone to see the smut.
I wonder what's on the front cover.
Yeah, well, Celaena, of course, just shrugs and turns her attention back to the snowfall, utterly unfazed. But then she feels it, his gaze lingering on her. Not with Chaol's cautious, broody intensity. Oh, I thought we liked broody intensity. Do we not like broody intensity?
Sometimes.
Okay. Oh, but with something softer. So now we have a softer brooding? Is there levels of brooding?
Yes, there are very many levels of brooding. Yes.
Oh, so she likes the softer levels.
Potentially.
So
Let's see.
So she's no Nesta. Nesta likes the heavy brooding. And
I don't think
Celaena,
Nesta knows what she wants.
That's a good point.
Well, therapy girl.
Yeah, definitely therapy. There's no mask, no pretense, just genuine enjoyment. And maybe, just maybe, she doesn't hate it.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
That's why she gave him the book.
Yeah. Well, she finally turns back to him because she's catching him staring and she asks, what are you looking at? Without thinking, he replies,
you're beautiful.
Oh. Celaena blushes and tells him not to be stupid. Dorian stumbles, asking if he's offended her. She says no, but there seems to be a definite shift in their relationship all of a sudden. He can't quite get a handle on the sensation. She's different from anyone else he's known for this long without pursuing romantically. Except for one poor person.
Kaltain.
Rompier.
Dorian's thoughts swirl like the snow outside. A storm he can't escape. He can't stop thinking about her, about touching her, kissing her. But darker memories creep in, stealing any trace of warmth from those thoughts. Yulemas, with its feasting and carnal pleasures, looms ahead. But joy feels like a foreign concept now. Not after the Elway massacre. 500 lives gone in a flash under his father's orders. How could he ever look at Nehemia in the eyes again? That is a struggle for him. And then his mind drifts further back to another kingdom, Terrasen, his father's first conquest, Celaena's home. It's a wonder she even speaks to him, let alone spends time with him.
At this point, Celaena breaks his thoughts and asks him if something's wrong. Dorian is raw, and he confesses that she must hate him. The court, the frivolity, the mindless distractions. He admits he can understand why she would actually choose to kill his kind and do it so easily. She tries to speak, but he presses on. He thinks something terrible must have happened to her in her childhood, maybe even by his father's hand. He admits he doesn't want to be a part of the Empire's cruelty, and yet his voice drops as he confesses he never really had a choice. Even choosing her as his champion was just a way to defy his father. There was no not choosing someone. So he was told, you will choose a champion.
Forced to be a part of this game.
Yeah, so he had no choice. And then as like a fuck you to his father, he said, let me go get Adarlan's assassin.
Celaena meets his vulnerability with a rare softness. She reassures him she doesn't hate him. She doesn't think he's like the others, and in true Celaena fashion, she even throws in an apology for her teasing, if it ever even hurt him. Dorian, with a trademark smirk, brushes it off, claiming she only makes his life a little more interesting.
Oh, a little.
Yeah, just a little. He loves hanging out with her.
Right.
He shifts the mood with a sly comment, clearly testing the waters. It's too bad you can't come to the Yulemas Ball with me. I mean, it's not like you'd enjoy yourself at a masked ball. Smooth, right?
Challenge accepted. The clock chimes midnight. Here we go with that midnight business again.
Right?
Dorian rises as though midnight is his cue, bidding her goodnight. But as he turns to leave, he presses a lingering kiss on her cheek.
Ooh.
Contact has been made.
There we go.
And then as he's leaving, she actually whispers his name, using his name, Dorian. But she says it not tenderly, more with resignation.
All right, we'll talk about that here in a second.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Left alone, Celaena gazes out the window, watching the snow swirl in the moonlight. Her thoughts drift to the Yulemas Ball, another grand event she won't be invited to.
Boo.
Bullshit. Was that what Chaol had been trying to bring up earlier? Oh, that's a
Ooh.
good question. Before she vomited on him.
Gross.
Yeah, poor Chaol. Still, maybe she should have mentioned Kane's creepy little episode to him.
When would she have done that? Between his professing his want to maybe go on a date with her and her vomiting?
She's had a rough night. Oh, and Nehemia stopping by because the Elway rebels being murdered.
It's been rough.
Yeah, a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this resignation saying his name.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's because she is upset that she is liking a Havillard. So she's kind of struggling saying.
that's an interesting take. In my mind, reading a lot of these books, I feel like it was a we're never going to be together
Oh, okay.
resignation. That's how I took it. I was like, oh, like I've said your name with resignation. Like I've said it, but it mean like I want it to mean something, but I know that it can't ever mean anything.
Our two worlds are two different, Romeo, Juliet kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took how that was said.
Chaol was very interesting. Poor guy.
Oh my gosh, poor Chaol.
Aw. His first encounter with a woman having a period, especially a woman that he likes. That's even like more awkward. So as a guy, and I'll be honest, as a young male, teenager, again, this is why I think like sexual education is extremely important, because as a teenager in young 20s, we are weirded out about women's periods, which are completely natural and normal things.
Yep.
The thing is, like, when you're not around something like that, like it can be
You
a
have
little
no idea how
scary.
to act
you
to
don't know
it.
how to act, and especially like, again, it's like someone that you like.
Like, are
and
you
you're
supposed to help? Are you supposed to
Exactly.
like, be gone? Are you supposed to bring them ice cream? The answer is yes.
Well, and that's why like you see some of those funny videos too of guys that are like tripping out, like trying to go buy tampons for their wives and stuff like that at the store. But at least they're trying. But they still. But the thing is, we shouldn't be weirded out about having to go buy tampons for our wives. It should just be a normal thing.
I'll be honest. I stopped using those a long time ago, but to the day that I stopped purchasing them, was weird about purchasing them in front of people.
Yeah.
Myself, and I used them.
Well, because we make
All the
it such
time.
we make it such a private
Yeah.
thing instead of
Oh, don't talk
instead
about
of,
that.
Yeah, instead of saying that it's a normal, natural thing that any female species of mammal go through.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, everybody, women have periods. It's a thing.
Yep.
And poor Chaol just couldn't handle it. Dorian, though, didn't seem to mind.
No, Dorian.
He actually wanted to come and mess with her a little bit. He was like, oh, saw you scare the shit out of poor Chaol.
She's stuck and can't escape. That's basically what it felt like. Like, I'm going to go harass her for a bit.
What time was it again?
Midnight.
Midnight. Again.
Well, it was 11-ish when Chaol showed up, I think. And then Dorian leaves at midnight because, midnight.
yeah, it's the whole midnight thing.
It was-
But
it was
and
midnight.
I love that it's like I know what she's doing with the Cinderella comparisons, but I just still think it's funny that these two idiots are coming to some woman's room at midnight, 2 a.m. and just messing with her. They're just messing with her. They're
Function
all like,
better when they sleep in the morning, and they're not meant to work in the morning first thing.
oh, that's true. An assassin would be a nighttime job too, so she'd be awake anyway.
Yeah, so all of that seems nighttimey.
Yeah, and they got to watch her while she's awake, so they got to be awake too.
She's ruining everybody's sleep.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, it seems like Dorian's a partier though, so he'd be
Well,
awake.
yeah. Well, they've got these balls and grand events that they're
but
going
that
to with
no
all
one's
the nobility.
that no one's inviting her to.
Yeah, well, she's
Like
not.
he sit there and mentions first. I mean, Chaol was about to invite her. I think Chaol was going to invite that poor sap. That son of a bitch.
Just the timing.
The timing.
Oh.
Hey, look.
Chaol.
500 people were murdered, and I'm very conflicted about it. But if an assassin like you could ever, with a guard like me, you see it happening, and then she vomits on him, and you're just like, oh shit.
I
Oh,
love that
poor
take.
Chaol.
That was great.
Like, and he just didn't know what to do, and just runs out, and then Dorian's like, my turn.
Brought his Riz in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, not only did he bring the Riz, but he brought his emotions, because he actually like came out to her and said, I really feel you hate me. And he doesn't like that she hates him because
But he totally understands because
of what his
Yeah.
father did.
oof,
But I think that he really, 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 really wants her to know that he is not.
he is not his father. Yep. I
And that's
agree.
important to him. And I think that she's starting to see that. And that's why she's conflicted. And that's why I said that she had resignation, because she's conflicted. She's like, I'm supposed to hate him, but I'm falling for him. And that's why I think she had the resignation when she said his name.
I can see your point.
But I see your point too. Don't get me wrong.
But she's still not invited to the Yulemas Ball. It's a masked ball.
Look, I know. And I'm excited about that. A Yulemas mass ball. We should have one of those one day.
Yeah. Ooh,
Hey, if we ever become famous, everybody, I'm telling you right now, mass Yulemas Ball. And we're going to do it throne of glass style. I swear to God, promise, make us famous, and I promise you we will do a Yulemas Ball. It'll be awesome.
That would be fabulous.
All right. So you ready to turn the page?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 35.
Trust in the balance. Chaol leans over the balcony. His gaze locks onto Celaena and Dorian below in the courtyard. A knot twists in his stomach.
Aw, poor Chaol.
He should be down there. He should be protecting the prince. No matter how much he tries to trust her, she is still an assassin.
Maybe not poor Chaol, because he's not thinking that way. He's thinking like a guard.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking like a guard. I should be down there protecting the prince.
I was wrong on that one.
Yet, conflicting thoughts crowded his mind.
Here we go.
She has endured so much. She was only 17 when she was thrown into the mines, and she suffered through horrors that he can't even imagine. Watching her now, what terrifies him most isn't the risk that she poses, but the fact that he is starting to trust her. And he can't figure out what that says about himself. And that is tripping him out.
It's the first time that he's ever put himself in her shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, at 17, we remember what it was like at 17.
Mm-hmm. And he's got home and food.
Yeah, he was being trained to be a captain of the guard, and she was slaving away in the mines.
And they expect people to die. They don't have a lifespan.
1 month lifespan. She made it a whole year. Celaena felt like she was walking on air. Her heart lighter than it had been in weeks. Dorian had asked her for a walk.
Ooh.
Sure, she was elated, but judging by how quickly he darted over after dinner, he was the nervous one. Honestly, he didn't even wait for the last plate to be cleared before practically sprinting across the room to invite her.
That's so cute.
Still, her thoughts wandered back to Nehemia, who's been distant lately, turning down every invitation. And then there was Elena. 3 weeks of radio silence. No cryptic messages. Not a whisper, not a sign.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, sometimes, because why is she not appearing? If we're trying to fight some monster, we might need some more help.
Yeah,
Elena.
We could use some help. Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
Celaena, though, kept herself busy in the meantime. 3 tests were down now. The latest, a laughable obstacle course. She breezed through it, though poor Paylor hadn't been so lucky.
Uh-oh.
Still, though, losing a test was better than losing your life. Something 3 other champions had already done.
Whoa. So we had 3 more tests.
Yes.
Paylor's gone.
Yes.
And 3 people are dead?
Correct.
Okay. Wow.
We're getting close to Yulemas anyway, so Final 4, here we come.
I mean, is this how the king intended it to happen the whole time?
Ooh, tinfoil hat moment. Good job. All right. But shaking off the dark thoughts and shaking off your dark thoughts.
Yeah, for real.
She turned her attention back to Dorian. It wasn't like she dressed in her fine lavender gown for him or styled her hair just right, got her hair did, or made sure her gloves, her white precious gloves were spotless. No, definitely not for him.
No.
But when his gaze flicked to her necklace and then to the amethyst ring on her finger, the one that he didn't give her, ooh, it stung. And she could see that in his eyes.
He hasn't given her anything to wear yet, so what's he all upset about?
She's got 2 fine jewelry pieces from 2 different people. So he has no idea who's giving her all this fine jewelry.
Well, she's not sure why the amulet gives her such comfort, but it does. Wearing it just feels right. Dorian starts sharing a childhood memory, how his favorite stories as a boy were about Gavin, the legendary hero.
Quote from Dorian. Elena, first queen of Adarlan, had a magical amulet. In the battle with the Dark Lord, Gavin and Elena found themselves defenseless against him. He was about to kill the princess when a spirit appeared and gave her a necklace. And when she put it on, Erewhon couldn't harm her. She saw the Dark Lord for what he was and called him by his true name. It surprised him so much that he became distracted, and Gavin slew him. Dorian looked to the ground. They called her necklace the Eye of Elena, and it has been lost for centuries.
I'm sorry. As you were reading that, I just remembered that we don't know the name of the king.
We don't know the name of the king, correct.
And you just said she saw the Dark Lord for what he was and called him by his true name.
Erewhon.
It surprised him so much. Why do we not know the king's name?
So are we tinfoil hatting right now?
Oh, for sure.
So are we saying...
for some reason it struck.
Are we saying it's possible Erewhon could be the king, that he is not dead and that Gavin did not succeed with, I forget the sword's name, but because remember the sword that she found with the treasures? Gavin killed Erewhon. No, what?
Oh, my tinfoil hat got really tight.
Oh, God. Are we in the ocean? How deep
Check
are we
this out.
going? What are we doing?
So he says, The princess appeared and gave her the necklace. When she put it on, Erewhon couldn't harm her. What if now the king can't harm Celaena? Just as a thought.
Okay.
She can see the king for now who he is and can now call him by his name, which we haven't heard yet.
Okay, so I
got chills.
So I'm gonna file that
Okay.
in a pool. I feel like that is a very reasonable tinfoil hat theory.
Okay.
I'm
really excited about that. Okay, sorry.
No, because you're right. Because if it protects, she probably gave her the amulet to protect her from the monster as well. And you could probably see people for who they really are.
So it's got dual purpose. It protects you and you can see.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
Oh, like as you read it, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, sorry. Woo. All right. So Celaena thinks it's odd that the prince, the son of a man determined to stamp out magic, would speak so reverently about power amulets. Dorian mentions that he's seen many illustrations of the amulet in old texts, and the design looked remarkably similar to the one around her neck. She casually shifts the subject. Thank the gods for snowstorms. At least Holland is stuck at school and won't be around to ruin Yulemas. Good subject change. Their walk continues for over an hour. Their conversation is light, yet Celaena's mind is elsewhere. If Dorian could recognize the amulet, how much longer before someone else does? Worse. Ooh, what if the king recognizes it?
And those are good questions, because I was going to go back to Dorian knowing the amulet, because that was one of our conspiracy theories earlier. It was, he noticed it? Is he drawn to it? I mean, the most obvious one that he's just seen it before through history, because it's a very important amulet.
Yeah, they're going to paint it in paintings of people and tapestries.
Obviously, if Dorian knows what it is, the king for sure knows what this amulet looks like, because he's the one destroying magic in the entire realm anyway.
And it's been lost for centuries.
And this sounds like probably the most important amulet, because it's the amulet that protected them from Erewhon. So this amulet probably protects you from evil.
Oh man, my brain hurts right now.
We're back in Celaena's room, trying to lose herself in a book. But her thoughts refuse to settle. The chest of drawers she shoved in front of the secret passage looms in the corner, quietly but heavy with implication. Elena's absence gnaws at her. This isn't just about becoming the king's champion anymore. The evil creeping through the castle and her role in stopping it are now inescapably entwined. A loud crash nearly launches her out of her skin. Her heart races until she hears Philippa humming in the hall. Woo, thank God. She relaxes, but not entirely. Her book had fallen on the floor, just out of reach. As she bends to pick it up, her hand freezes. What the hell is that?
Ooh.
A white line just visible beneath the bed.
Heart pounding. Celaena shoves the bed aside, and there it is. Dozens of word marks drawn in chalk, sprawling across the floor, and in the center, the exact same mark she'd seen carved into Varen's body.
Okay.
Instinct takes over, thank goodness. She grabs the nearest pitcher of water. She douses the symbols and she scrubs them away. That actually leaves her hands raw. Like she is determined to get these gone. Without a second thought, she pulls on her tunic and boots and she is by Felicia out the door.
Yeah, I would too. Someone is drawing word marks underneath my bed, and one of them was on a dead body.
So my question is, was that the symbol that she was next and she just accidentally found it?
That's a good question. Because at first I thought when I read that part that it could be for protection. Maybe because some word marks are probably bad, some are probably good. I don't think all are bad and all are good.
Of course.
So I thought at first, but then I forgot that the one symbol is found on Varen. So you're probably right. Someone's probably marking her. I would freak out too. That's probably why she said, bye, Felicia.
She's like, I'm going to get my clothes on. I'm out.
So now it's midnight. Celaena had sweet-talked the guards into escorting her to the library. And now she was weaving through the dimly lit aisles, the silence thick with possibility. Midnight felt fitting because of the Cinderella vibes. Anyone?
Of course. Everything's at midnight, right?
Everything is at midnight. Everyone bursts in her room at midnight. She's out wandering the halls at midnight.
At midnight. I'm asleep at midnight.
No, I am not mad at it. I like the Cinderella vibes of this story.
I love it.
But just as she neared the alcove with the books on word marks, she practically collided with Nehemia. And judging by the look on Nehemia's face, she wasn't thrilled to see Celaena either.
Interesting.
The book clutched in Nehemia's hands, way too advanced for someone still learning the language. Celaena, never one to hold back, pointed that out. Nehemia's response was like a slap.
Then you're like every ignorant fool in this castle, Lillian.
Oh, shit!
Wow.
Oh, no!
Wow.
Mic drop. The words stung, not because of what Nehemia said, but how she said them in flawless, perfect, common tongue.
Bro.
She's been hiding this shit the whole goddamn time.
She has been playing them the whole time.
Good.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Okay.
Fuck the king. Fuck Adamant.
Fair.
Massacring
Fair, all
500.
of that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I am Team Nehemia on this one.
Well, Nehemia bounces out, and Celaena spots a piece of paper that falls behind the desk that she was sitting at. Celaena puts it in her pocket and rushes back to her room. Was Nehemia playing her this whole time?
Yes.
She did warn her repeatedly about staying away from the word marks. Several times. We talked about that.
We did.
But she did come to her for comfort when her kingdom was being ravaged. So there's still some kind of connection there. She has, like you said, every reason to deceive everyone at Rifthold. But why keep it secret from Celaena? Why plot against Celaena? And I want to point out, she doesn't know who Celaena is. She knows that she is Lillian Jordana of fuck all. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
She has no idea who Celaena is.
Yeah, they're playing each other. So you can't be mad if
you can't be
Nehemia is
mad.
playing you. And also you can't be mad because you know, like, you have the same enemy. You know what Nehemia is trying to do. But I like how it said that she still came to her for comfort. So I think the friendship is real, but they are doing what they have to do because Nehemia has a country to protect. She has rebels to protect. And Celaena is doing her job to win this competition.
Was Nehemia expecting her to catch on?
I don't think so. I don't think this meeting, because again, they were both surprised at the meeting.
Yeah, this was not supposed to
Nehemia
happen.
was not, but I think Nehemia is like, well, shit, you found me out. Here it is. I speak perfect, fluent, common tongue now the whole time. So she's letting it out there. So my thing is, I think Nehemia trusts her because she's not hiding it anymore. And she
could have been like, oh, I'm trying, and like stumbled over her words and like trying to do that. But
if she really didn't trust her, she could have warned her and said something like, stay out of my way, don't interfere, something like that.
Yeah.
But she didn't warn her. She's kind of just letting her know, this is me now and I have something planned. I think she's letting her know she has something planned.
Okay. Well, that was a hell of a chapter.
Yeah, well, that was. So let's go back to Chaol real quick at the beginning. Let's talk about his feels.
Yeah, he's super conflicted.
No, but I kind of like what SJM has done with Chaol's character so far in this book. Because at first, we thought he was this annoying kind of
stick in the mud
guy. And I mean, he kind of is. I mean, that's just part of his personality. But it's also because he's never met someone like Celaena. He's never put himself in someone else's shoes. His only friend was a rich prince.
Yeah.
Then he had a family that was at war the whole time with the giants. Again, he's in his bubble too. He doesn't know the world.
It's like he's been brainwashed to believe something and is now finding out that it's not actually true about this specific group of people.
Yep. And he's only 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he put himself in Celaena's shoes at 17, which is only 5 years ago for him. And he's like, what was I doing at 17 years old? Oh, I was training. But what was she doing? She was suffering unimaginable things that he couldn't grasp.
And surviving a winter that most people don't.
Exactly.
Just astonishing. So now he's questioning himself. I mean, it's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that you're expanding. Yes.
It's growth. And we like characters that find growth. I hate characters that are bland. I like characters that find growth. And I think we're going to see that with Celaena and Dorian. There's a lot of growth there, too, with their relationship as well.
Yeah, they're having flirtations in the garden.
Exactly. But there's still jealousy from Dorian.
Yeah, because what about that ring? Where'd you get that ring, girl?
Yeah, who's giving her the ring and the amulet? But he did notice the amulet, and he said that he didn't say for sure it is the amulet. He said it looks like the eye of Elena.
He said it was familiar enough that it could be a replica. Like it's enough the same that it's either the one or a replica of the one. So, and it hasn't been seen for centuries.
Well, not only that, but we saw how important that sword was when she saw it. And that's the sword that Gavin used to kill Erewhon. So I would imagine that this necklace in history is just as important as this sword.
Are we about to get like M. Night Shyamalan?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's something.
Oh, there's going to be a rug pull.
I feel like there's something like with the fact that they're down there in the sarcophagi and she's bathed in moonlight and he's in dark and the sword is there and the amulet is there and it's upside down and I'm just like,
word gates.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get rug pulled.
Woo! All right, I'm ready. Oh, I'm so excited.
That's why we have these tinfoil hat moments, because we like to mark them off. So we have a lot going on. Are you ready to turn the page?
I'm ready to turn the page. Let's go.
It's time for chapter 36.
Sugar Rush and Puppy Love.
Perfect title.
Days pass without Nehemia's presence. Celaena doesn't share the incident with Chaol or Dorian, interesting, but she feels she needs proof before confronting Nehemia. She immerses herself in studying the word marks, as per usual. She's determined to solve their mysteries. Another test passes easily, eliminating the unnamed soldier. Bye. The final test approaches in 3 days, followed closely by the duel.
So we are now in our top 5 competitors. On Yulemas morning, Celaena wakes to an unusual stillness. The castle is hushed, blanketed in the kind of peace only falling snow can bring. She stretches, resolving to let herself feel joy, despite Nehemia's absence, the ball snub, and the looming duel. Yulemas is supposed to be about kindness, after all. Her moment of reflection is cut short when she rolls on the something crinkly. A bag. She pulls it out to find it stuffed with candy.
Candy!
No note, no explanation, just beautiful, yummy tummy candy.
And thus begins the candy feast.
If you could have an entire bag of just one candy, what would it be?
That is not fair.
That is 100% fair.
I didn't know.
One. Off the top of your head without even thinking.
You know how I feel.
If you say good and plenty, I swear.
Peanut butter M&Ms.
I would be so scared. Okay, that one's legit.
Yeah.
I was scared you were going to say good and plenty.
No.
That was frightening.
It'd be peanut butter M&Ms.
Only serial killers eat good and plenties.
I love good and plenty.
I know. It kind of scares me.
Well, she's beginning her candy feast and her regret because she is trying each piece. And she has to actually dump the entire bag on her bed because she wants to make sure she tastes them all.
So she would be a pro on Halloween night.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I do.
I mean, that's what we do as adults. Well, that's what we did with our kids' candy. Oh, let's dump it in this bowl and see what the kids got.
Let's see what, quote unquote, the kids got.
Oh, look, Reese's peanut butter cups.
This one
right
looks
here.
like mine.
Come this way, good sir.
Well, Philippa enters, not to steal candy, but to scold her for her now red-stained teeth
Nice.
and breakfast choices, comparing her to her grandson. Celaena grins like a demon and offers Philippa candy instead of any kind of contrition, which she declines. Philippa, however, laughs and wishes Celaena a genuine happy Yulemas. So she's got like another acquaintance/friend comrade. I love it.
Philippa, we have determined that is the fairy godmother.
Yes, that's right.
We're going to fast forward just a little bit. Celaena is squeezing into the only gown Philippa deemed worthy of the temple ceremony, though the candy binge has left her teeth bright red and her stomach doing flips. Just as she's attempting to shake off the queasiness, Dorian waltzes into her room, dressed all fabulous-like in a white and gold jacket and carrying a basket.
Are you my present, or is it in the basket?
Well, Dorian smirks, his eyes sparkling mischievously. If you'd like to unwrap me, we've got an hour before the service. Hey, seriously, what teenager has this much charm?
None of them. Come on.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
That man is the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Adderland.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Wizard of Adderland. I like it.
Celaena bursts out laughing like I did, showing off her candy red teeth. Uh-oh. Too slowly, she snaps her mouth shut, but Dorian notices, and he teasingly pinches her nose until she opens her mouth, and he bursts into laughter, nearly doubling over.
Been eating candies, have you?
He says, grinning. Then he spots the half-eaten candy bag. It was 3 pounds worth of candy.
Shit, 3 pounds of candy?
Listen, she is doing an impressive attempt at type 2 diabetes.
I feel bad for, oh God, they didn't have toilets back then either. Oh man, that's going to be rough.
Listen, I don't really want to have toilet talk.
Hey, I'm a guy, so my mind automatically went there when I heard 3 pounds of candy and how much her stomach is probably going to hurt. And oh God, the next 12 hours are going to be rough. Poor girl. Celaena snatches the candy from him, setting it firmly on the table. Before she can fire back, a small golden snout pokes out from the basket, sniffling at the candy curiously. Oh my God, Dorian brought her the grumpy puppy.
I'm so excited.
Celaena accuses him of trying to pawn off the unwanted runt. Aw, poor buddy.
Aw.
But Dorian shakes his head, insisting that he, the puppy, chose her.
Aw.
Hey, it's just like the cat distribution system gave us Merlin and Gandalf, our 2 cats.
Yeah, they chose us. Aw. Celaena softens as she looks at the timid puppy, who wags its tail shyly when she smiles. Dorian reassures her, but Celaena is worried about what will happen if she is sent back to Endovir. Rightfully so. He brushes off her concern. Thanks. She finally accepts the puppy, but only if it's properly trained and stays with her at night.
Touched by his gesture, Celaena impulsively kisses him on the cheek.
Oh.
Aw, she really loves that present. Dorian freezes, very unlike him, his eyes going wide before he nearly stumbles into the table. Celaena hides her amusement behind a small smile as he fumbles to recover, mumbling something about seeing her after the ball before bolting from the room. Oh, our boy was embarrassed.
Oh, poor thing. He was totally taken by surprise.
He was red as hell, probably.
He gave her a kiss on the cheek. So,
Yeah,
I
but this
mean,
is the first time that she reciprocated.
I know.
So that's extra special.
So where's his Riz now?
Oh, he's got no Riz now. That man was melting. I mean, if we talk about Wizard of Oz, he just became the Wicked Witch of the West, where like she's
She
melting.
started melting.
Like, I'm melting. That boy
Nice. That was a
melting.
fabulous reference. Well, now she's alone and she turns to find her new companion. But her thoughts drift to Nehemia again, and she suspects that Nehemia might unleash the beast during the ball, where the most influential nobles will be present, including Chaol and Dorian. But warning Chaol could ruin the diplomacy and damage their friendship, but she can't sit idly by, so she goes to her closet to check her selection of gowns. Here we go.
It is important that we watch Nehemia, see what she might do, and protect our friends, but
We got to go to the ball, too.
right, it's the Yulemas Ball.
I want to go.
It's before you're in the Final Four, because let's face it, she's going to be in the Final Four. You got to have a little bit of fun. Cinderella has to go to the ball, baby.
Yeah, send her on.
So later on, as Chaol and Celaena stroll toward the glass temple, he teases her about the candy red teeth, his tone dry, but amused. At least he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to brush it off, but the thought lingers. Why doesn't he joke with her the way Dorian does? The difference stings more than she cares to admit. When the topic of the ball comes up, she tries to play it cool, but can't resist snapping just a little.
Well, apparently you still don't trust me enough.
His small smile, soft but maddening, sends her heart into a tailspin.
Oh.
She realizes with an uncomfortable clarity that she no longer loathes him. And yet a flicker of anticipation rises, because when he sees her at the ball, furious and caught off guard, that'll be a moment worth savoring.
Oh, he is going to be so bent about that. It's not her fault. Come on, guys.
So real quick, as we mentioned, let's talk about the difference between Dorian and Chaol.
Okay.
She's a little upset that Chaol, again, is rigid, hence why we call him Chaol Chip. It's a lot harder for him to joke around. It comes natural to Dorian, but I think it's, again, nurture and nature. So I think it's part born with that kind of personality, but also Dorian lived a life of getting anything he wants, being spoiled, where Chaol had a very strict upbringing, and then he decided himself that he wanted to be a captain of the guard, which is basically like entering the priesthood. What it sounds like, because he says, it's hard for him to find a woman because nobody wants to date a captain of the guard.
Nobody wants to date just a lowly guard.
Yeah, so it's just a difference. And I think the problem is she does like Chaol. I just think that she likes Dorian's personality more. I think Dorian's personality fits her more, and that's what's upsetting about her, because she knows that Chaol is such a sweet, 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 sweet boy, but she likes the slyness and the fun of Dorian.
The Riz. She appreciates the Riz.
Well, it's dangerous, and she's used to danger. She's an assassin. She needs someone that can keep up with her, and I don't think Chaol can keep up with her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Unfortunately, he's being friend zoned.
Uh-huh.
She wants to like him. That's what she's saying. She wants to like him, but she likes Dorian's personality so much better. She wishes Chaol had a little bit of Dorian in him, and then maybe she might, it might be
She
something.
doesn't have to like just one person.
That's true too. This is just...
She can like Dorian for those reasons, and she can like Chaol for other reasons, because, they're clearly two different people, and they have different qualities that she appreciates about both of them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just speaking from a guy's point of view. You're speaking from a woman's point of view, so I did not think about that, she could honestly just like both of them, and she's conflicted.
yeah, she's conflicted. She likes them for different reasons. She's clearly more drawn to Dorian, but that's because of who he is, but maybe the...
No, I get it. It's that whole bad guy vibe. That's what everyone's into.
brooding. He's brooding.
Well, you know what I do? I joke around a little bit with these type of books, and I call them dark Hallmark. Yeah, because they all... So if you look at the Hallmark movies, they're all the same. It's basically two exact opposite people coming together is what it is. Because you have the rich girl from New York City, you have the guy from the small town. She comes to the small town, they fall in love because she has to save his tree house or some bullshit.
Or vice versa.
Right. So, but it's the opposite here. Now you have the sweet, innocent girl, and you have the brooding, dark man, something that's completely opposite, foreign to her, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and again, light, dark, opposite attract. There's a yin and yang. You and I, we complement each other very, very well because we have our differences in a lot of things, but it complements.
You're bald. I have hair.
That's a good one right there.
Sorry, honey.
No, but instead of fighting what is different between ourselves, we complement.
Yes. Speaking of teams, she's got to look out for her team, which I think is Chaol and Dorian at the ball. Because Nehemia, she's sketchy about Nehemia. Why wouldn't she be? Nehemia's up to something. We can't trust her anymore. What is she doing? And all the nobles are going to be there. Her friends are going to be there. Are Nox and Palo are going to be there?
That we don't know.
I don't know. So she has but 2, if not more, people there.
And those 2 are the most important to her because those are the ones who got her out of the mines. And those are the ones she's become connected and closest to. But I also think it's not just there to make sure Nehemia doesn't hurt anyone. It's also to make sure Nehemia doesn't hurt herself and get herself in trouble because again, she's surrounded by enemies everywhere she goes. So the fear is if she does something and it doesn't work, Nehemia's screwed.
I mean, she could just be there to confirm or deny that what she believes about Nehemia is true. Because she doesn't know that yet. That's why she's not willing to talk to Chaol and Dorian about it. She's like, I think, but maybe not. So I'm going to go.
She doesn't want to accuse her friend right away without proof.
Any kind of proof. Yep.
Yeah.
But Chaol is going to be mad when she shows up at the ball.
Chaol's going to be mad, but somebody who might be happy is the guy who gifted her the grumpy puppy.
Grumpy puppy. I'm
Dorian.
so excited.
That was actually super cute. And that poor boy blushed like a son of a bitch when he got kissed on the cheek and just ran out the door. Mr. Playboy himself gets one little kiss on the cheek.
I love
runs
that.
away.
I love that for both of them.
As a guy, that's how you know you're in love. Right there.
Because you get embarrassed by something like that?
Yeah, something super small. You just get embarrassed because it's just the feelings. I guarantee he's
all
never
the
felt
feelings well up inside
other than
you.
maybe that Rosamund that was mentioned earlier. Might be the only times ever felt that way.
Interesting.
So that's my guess. So you ready to turn the page and see what's going on with this Cinderella ball?
I am. Let's go.
On to chapter 37.
The Huntress's Favor. In the rear of the spacious temple sits Chaol and Celaena. Celaena is trying her hardest to keep her mouth closed so no one else notices her red teeth.
All that candy.
I don't blame her. Well, this temple that they are in is built entirely from glass, with the limestone floor being the only remaining part of the original structure. 2 columns of about 100 pews stand beneath the vaulted glass ceiling. And Celaena stands to look over the heads of the people in front of her, so it sounds like maybe stadium? Kind of like, how do you stand up to look over the heads?
Yeah, that'd be stadium seating.
Yeah, okay. So stadium seating. She stands to look over the heads of the people in front of her, spotting Dorian and the Queen sitting in the front pew. Duke Borington and Kaltain are sitting on the other side of the aisle with Nehemia and other unknown figures behind them. She doesn't see any of the other champions. Wait, why was she allowed to attend this, but not the banquet or the ball?
Time out. They did this to her on Samhain as well. She was allowed to go to temple because remember she was in the grate and then she looked down and the other champions were having a grand old time at the little dance for Samhain and she wasn't. Yeah, it's happening again. Same with Yulemas. She can go to temple to the boring part, but she can't go and have fun afterwards.
Chaol growls at her to sit down. The high priestess makes her appearance, walking onto the stone platform and raising her hands above her head. Almost as soon as she begins speaking, Celaena starts squirming, boredom overtaking her already. The exhausted assassin, who has not been sleeping, soon drifts off into the waking world of dreams. Chaol snarls in her ear.
Get up now! Celaena jolts upright, the haze of sleep still clinging to her like a too heavy blanket. Around her, the nobles in the row exchange silent, gleeful laughter, their amusement at her expense painfully obvious. She shoots Chaol an apologetic glance, but his expression is far from amused. More disapproving captain than understanding friends. Turning her gaze forward, she quickly pieces it together. The high priestess has already wrapped up the sermon, and even the songs are done. Well, that's great. Hey, she managed to see through it all. In my book, that's a win. Leaning closer to Chaol, she whispers,
How long was I out?
Well, he didn't respond, so she asked him again. That's when she notices the slight blush on his cheeks.
You were asleep too? She asks.
Until you start drilling on my shoulder.
Such a self-righteous young man, she mutters.
Pay attention. Hey, I get it. So I grew up Catholic. So anyone who was growing up Catholic, they do this all over the world. It is so boring. We call it, Catholic calisthenics? Up, down, kneel, sit, stand, do the hokey pokey.
That's to keep you awake.
Right foot in, left foot out. No, well, yeah, and it doesn't work.
You fall asleep in between.
Oh, yeah, you fall asleep in between. And what's funny is it only takes 5 minutes and you're out. When I was a kid, I was out.
Okay. Well, now begins the part of the ceremony since she missed most of it. This part's called the Procession of the Gods. The sound of pattering footsteps fills the temple as the congregation stands. 9 children, each dressed in the costume of a particular god, stops in front of chosen individuals to present them with a gift, a symbol of the god's favor. Now, I want to point out that they are blindfolded. So they have no idea, right? Like they were blindfolded.
Yeah, but I think that this is a kind of cool tradition, though.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's probably cute, too, because you got 9 blind kids who don't know where they're going. So they're probably running into shit. So that the parents are probably laughing their asses off unless they're like doing like a Marco Polo thing.
I can't believe that that's where you went with this. That you were like, they're probably just bumping into everything.
Why wouldn't you go to that route? That would be absolutely hilarious. I guarantee that's where Celaena's head, or
I'm
Celaena.
sorry.
I guarantee Celaena's head went that route, but they're not saying it in the book, but I know her.
In my mind, they are like miniature assassins, and they avoided all of the obstacles, feet and canes, and I don't know why. Okay,
from Rifthold.
Listen, I don't know why.
Not everyone in Rifthold is an assassin. Not everyone really is an assassin. These are normal ass kids. It's probably cute as shit. I'm not saying like it's cute and funny. It's like watching T-ball. It's cute and funny at the same time.
That's true,
right?
That's true.
So that's
yes.
exactly what's going on here.
Okay,
But also probably a little bit of fate's involved, probably.
I mean, it's got to be.
I think there's a lot of magic and religion here, so it's probably fate whenever someone gets chosen. So it's probably important who you get chosen by, too, because you mentioned there were 9 gods.
Yes, 9 of them.
And you got one for us?
I do. Farnor, the god of war, actually stops in front of Dorian first, but moves on and doesn't give it to him. It's a miniature sword, and he gives it to Duke Borington.
See, that's why I think this is kind of fate, too. Fate chosen.
Well, yeah, maybe. And he was still blindfolded, so he didn't stop at Dorian and Dorian say something. Probably not.
I wonder how many people he ran into, though.
I'm not sure.
Or pillars.
Well, Celaena feels interesting, an unexpected pang of sadness when Yulemas, the god of love, simply strides past her.
Ooh,
That's an interesting reaction. Like, why is she mad?
Their version of Cupid, basically.
Is Yulemas, but why is she upset?
Is that for Dorian or for Chaol? Because she's sitting with Chaol right now, right?
Yeah.
But does she want the love god to hook her up with Chaol or Dorian? Anyone? Just, or maybe like to help her choose, like.
Maybe just to give her some kind of direction.
Yeah, but then something extraordinary happens. Deanna, goddess of the hunt and maidens, steps forward, her ethereal presence channeled through the young girl chosen to betray her. The girl removes her blindfold, her warm smile landing directly on Celaena. Without a word, she reaches out, lightly touches Celaena's forehead, and hands her a slender golden arrow. Stunned, Celaena stares at the arrow, its weight feeling almost too heavy to bear. She tries to hand it off to Chaol, certain she can't possibly keep the potential weapon. But to her surprise, he places it back in her lap with a quiet, steady hand. I wouldn't want to test the gods, he murmured, his tone both teasing and serious. Celaena studies him, searching his face. Was it her perception altered by the goddess's blessing? Or has something within him shifted too? And I really want to dive into that one for a second.
Are we going to dive into that first?
Please.
Okay.
Because that's fresh on my mind.
Okay.
When they were reading in the library about the word marks, and they were kind of going over what the word marks are, and he was talking about, I don't want to hear it because he doesn't really believe in the mumbo jumbo and all that. This is mumbo jumbo. It's basically witchcraft. Believing in something like an object is going to grant you like powers or, something special.
But this isn't the same because they wouldn't be able to do this. This is not illegal. So this is what Chaol believes in, right? Like this is my perception. This is what Chaol believes in. And what she saw that shifted was because a blindfolded child chose her out of everybody else in that room, chose her. And so now he's like, oh, maybe all of the reservations I've been having about her are not founded because why would this have happened? Especially if he is of this religion.
Well, that's what I mean. Like something shifted in him. Because before it seemed like he was almost anti-religion, like almost atheist to what it seemed like to me at first, because he didn't really talk about religion and his beliefs. But now this kind of shows that he actually believes in something. And I think that's what shifted in her, that she got this symbol and he believes deeply in what that means, that the fact that Celaena was gifted this and he actually believes in it. He's like, I'm not going to go against the gods. Like this was special. This is gifted to you.
Do you think he believed in this religion or practiced this religion before this experience?
Yes. What I mean is Celaena had never noticed that he was actually religious. I believe that he practiced this religion. He just never showed her that he was religious. There's no point in the book that we've read so far where he actually shows how religious he is. Like there's no like if you see a Catholic person, they're going to have a rosary. He doesn't have any symbols or anything that he carries around. She's surprised that he is religious. That's just another layer to Chaol that I didn't really know about him. I knew that he had strong feelings about religion, but this is my first time actually seeing him in his own element in religion. which is a strong and powerful thing for anybody. I mean, seeing someone's spirituality for the first time is big.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is we get to learn a little bit about the religion too.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciated that, learning more about what they've got going on.
All right. So there's 9 gods and goddesses, and we learned about a few more. So we have Farnor, the god of war.
Lumus, the god of love.
But she got Deanna, the goddess of the hunt and maidens.
All right. Well, that was a great chapter.
All right. So you ready to turn the page? Welcome, everybody, to chapter 38.
From assassin to Cinderella. It's time for Philippa to work her fairy godmother magic and transform Celaena into the belle of the ball.
Yes,
Yay!
Cinderella, night and day, it's Cinderella, wash the dishes. I don't remember the rest of that.
She even jokes about being a fairy queen herself. Don't we all need a Philippa in our lives? I'd love one.
Yes, I want one.
This isn't just any ball for Celaena either. It's her first one where she's not there to kill someone. Progress, right?
Definitely progress.
Philippa, ever the perfectionist, picks out a dress fit for royalty. And we'll let the poetic brilliance of SJM do the honors describing it, because I certainly cannot. So, reading from the book. It was not pure white, but rather a grayish offset, and its wide skirts and bodice were encrusted with thousands of minuscule crystals that reminded Celaena of the surface of the sea. Swirls of silk thread on the bodice made rose-like designs that could have passed for a work by any master painter. A border of ermine lined the neck and provided slender sleeves that only covered her shoulders. Tiny diamond droplets fell from her ears, and her hair was curled and swept up onto her head, strands of pearls woven in. Her gray silk mask had been secured tightly against her face. It wasn't fashioned after anything, but the delicate crystal and pearl whorls had been crafted by a skilled hand. I had to look up what ermine was, and I'm very sad.
Philippa's spidey sense kicks in. Worried Kailchip might recognize Celaena and drag her cover into the mud. She warns Celaena not to involve her in whatever chaos is about to unfold. After a once-over, Philippa makes a bold call, suggesting Celaena could land a king, or at the very least, a crown prince.
Interesting.
But Celaena is not going to step into that ballroom unarmed.
Good for her.
Literally. She sneaks a knife into her dress because what's a gown without accessories?
Better.
And works with Philippa to convince the guards that she's totally invited to the shindig by the prince, duh.
Celaena is over it. She's done stuck being in her room while everyone else is out partying. Not tonight. It's not happening. We're going out. We're going to this masquerade ball. And their plan works like clockwork. And Ress is outside her room and escorts her straight to the festivities.
Smooth.
But here's the twist. Attending a ball is way more nerve-wracking than taking someone out at one. Celaena's biggest hurdle is getting Chaol to let her stay. And she's banking on that to give her a front row seat to watch Nehemia. It's a solid plan, but let's be real. Even with a knife hidden in her dress, it's questionable whether she is ready for a social battlefield that's waiting for her in the ballroom. Good luck, girl. You're going to need it.
What the hell is Celaena doing here? Dorian could spot her a mile away, and when you're in love, that's just how it works. And let's be real, this is her Cinderella meets She's All That moment. She looks good. It's borderline illegal. All eyes are on her. Not exactly the subtle entrance we were aiming for. Even the queen of all people takes notice.
Oops.
Celaena has to be out of her damn mind to pull this off. Meanwhile, somebody better come get Dorian because this man is frozen in love. Honestly, this takes me back to our first date. Food truck and all.
Yeah.
Except I wasn't a crown prince and you didn't sneak in with a knife hidden in your dress. At least I hope not.
It wasn't in my dress.
Hey, safety first.
Safety first. Just when Dorian finally musters the courage to finally walk over to her, Kailchip swoops in like he's been training for this moment his whole life. Cock block. Naturally, the court is buzzing louder than a flock of sparrows at dawn.
Please.
Says one particularly nosy courtier.
Tell me Chaol hasn't suddenly acquired a wife.
Another chimes in, dripping with disdain.
Captain Westfall? Why would a pretty young thing marry a guard?
The whispers keep flying as eyes turn to Dorian.
Who is she, Your Highness? Do you know her?
Dorian, clearly not ready for this level of drama, murmurs a quiet,
No, I don't.
before walking away, looking every bit like the prince in a tragic romance novel. Oh no.
Real quick, let's talk about that. No, I don't. Because I could have said it one of two ways. I could have said, no, I don't. Like in a sly way, like, I don't know who this is, kind of mysterious. Or he could be pissed and be like, no, I don't. Because he's surprised that she's at the ball. So there's two ways you can take that, I feel.
Well, There's not that many commas or ellipses in there, so I read it as, no, I don't. He's just like, no, I don't know her. Maybe he's flippant about it because he's upset that... I don't know why he would be upset about Chaol, though. He knew that Chaol was going to intercept. Come on, bro.
That's why I don't think that's what it is. I think he's saying like, no, I don't. Because he loves playing games. Oh, he loves playing games with her. Yeah, I think he's being sly. I think he's kind of being like, no, I don't. And like kind of like, but it doesn't say like if he has a smile or a frown. Like there's nothing that goes with it. So it's kind of like your interpretation.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
Chaol Chip does not love it. And living up to his name by showing up to a masquerade without a mask. Seriously, one damn job, Chaol. Drags Celaena to the side, clearly furious. Calling him pissed doesn't even cover it. Of course, he demands to know why she thought crashing the party was a great idea. Her answer? She just wanted to have a little fun and...
How can I be King's champion if you don't trust me?
Covertly to keep an eye on Nehemia while she was at it.
Of course.
Classic Celaena. She lays on the charm, poking at Chaol's no fun demeanor until he reluctantly agrees to let her stay. Good job, girl.
Good job.
Her parting shot, promising that behaving would be her Yulemas gift to him. Ironic. I kind of like that.
I like it. Very iconic. Back in the crowd, Celaena takes in the swirling masks around her, marveling at how both beautiful and unnerving they are. There's something eerie about not being able to see someone's face, especially in a sea of faces that you don't know the people. Honestly, I'd hate to see how she handles Halloween.
Same here. She's got the candy part down, but she doesn't have the mask part down.
No, and there's lots of masks. Everybody seems to be wearing masks, even if they're not at the ball. Ooh. Meanwhile, Nehemia is off to the side, sharing polite small talk with the queen. A social minefield if there ever was one. Celaena, true to her assassin training, positions herself at the perfect vantage point to keep an eye on the dais, the main stairs, and the dance.
Speaking of the dance floor, someone was for sure having a wonderful time, times two, if you know what I mean.
Since our listeners can't see right now, I want you to let the record show that Scott is gesturing with his hands to simulate the outrageously large breasts that are described in the book. And seem to be the only takeaway Scott got from this part of the chapter.
Hey, can you blame me? When you read the words outrageously large boobs, it grabs your attention.
I'm going to test this theory out. Well, obviously, Dorian is dancing with her just to get under Celaena's skin. Maybe.
Obviously.
Petty much? Come on, bro.
He's playing her game.
Well, even Borrington and Knox have noticed Celaena, but somehow Dorian's pretending not to. Rude. Chaol, ever the party pooper, leans in to tell Celaena not to have too much fun, which is less advice and more of a thinly veiled warning/threat. Celaena, reigning queen of restraint, manages to hide her scowl, crosses her arms, and shifts into full-on assassin vigil mode. Classic assassin energy, watchful, brooding, and a little bit annoyed. Yeah, you gotta watch out for Nehemia. Everything's weird with her right now.
Yeah, and speaking of, it's a good thing she's still chatting with the queen and hasn't stirred up any chaos yet. Celaena can't help but feel a pang of guilt for even letting the thought cross her mind that Nehemia might be the killer. But then, like a scene straight out of Mean Girls, Nehemia strides over to Celaena and Chaol, tension practically radiating off of her.
You look beautiful, Lillian.
In common tongue, with her accent as thick as ever, so her accent's back.
What the...
Yeah, talk about a slap in the face. Nehemia casually drops the "I'm not feeling well, going to bed" line, leaving Celaena standing there like, what the hell just happened? The whole interaction screams something's off, but Celaena keeps it together barely. So Nehemia, she's playing some shit.
Chaol notices, and his instincts kick in immediately. He senses that something's not quite right between the two of them. I mean, he's been hanging out with them this whole time, so he would notice. Celaena shuts him down with a sharp back off. She doesn't want him knowing just how much this Nehemia situation is eating her alive. Either she is doing something and she doesn't have the proof yet, or she's accusing her friend and feels guilty about that. But instead of facing that, Celaena does what she does best. She redirects her frustration straight at Chaol. And let's be honest, he's kind of an easy target, and we're going to do a dramatic reading again. With you scowling at everyone, no one will ask me to dance.
I'm not scowling at everyone.
Even as he said it, she spotted him frowning at a passing courtier who looked too long in Celaena's direction. Stop it! No one will ever ask me to dance if you keep doing that.
He gave her an exasperated look and strode off. She followed him to the border of the dance floor. Here, he said, standing at the edge of the sea of swirling gowns. If anyone wants to ask you to dance, you're in plain sight.
From this spot, she could also still make sure no feral beasts were about to rip into the crowd. But he didn't need to know that. She glanced at him. Would you like to dance with me?
With you? No.
She looked at the marble floor, her chest tight. You needn't be so cruel.
Cruel? Celaena, Harrington is just over there. I'm sure he's not happy about you being here, so I wouldn't risk drawing his attention any more than necessary.
Coward.
If he weren't here, I would say yes.
I can easily arrange that, you know.
He shook his head as he adjusted the lapel on his black tunic. Just then, Dorian waltzed by, sweeping the brunette with him. Big boob brunette. He didn't even glance at her. Anyway, Chaol added, jerking his chin at Dorian, I think you have far more attractive suitors vying for your attention. I'm boring company to keep. Oh, poor Chaol.
I don't mind being here with you.
I'm sure you don't.
I mean it. Why aren't you dancing with anyone? Aren't there ladies whom you like?
I'm the captain of the guard. I'm not exactly a catch for any one of them. There was some sorrow in his eyes, though it was well concealed.
Are you mad? You're better than everyone in here, and you're very handsome, she said, taking his hand in her free one. There was beauty in Chaol's face, and strength, and honor, and loyalty. She stopped hearing the crowd, and her mouth became dry as he stared at her. How had she missed it for so long?
You think so? He said after a moment, looking at their clasped hands. Their hands are holding.
She tightened her grasp. Why, if I wasn't...
Poor Chaol, because here comes Dorian.
Womp womp.
Handsome as ever, of course, and pulling out all the riz like he's the Wizard of Oz. Channeling Steve Harrington from the Stranger Things energy, slyly whisked her away from Chaol and onto the dance floor, leaving poor Chaol Chip to nurse a lonely drink like a third wheel from a teen rom-com.
Oh.
She feels a flicker of guilt for him. Well, until Dorian touches her back and suddenly it's like, Chaol who?
Oh.
All she can think about now is how much she wants a taste of that prince's energy.
Ooh.
Dorian's pulling a classic, popular guy sweeps the girl off the feet move, and she's fully here for it.
And so am I. That smooth son of a bitch is pulling out all the stops tonight.
Hell yeah.
And our girl, and she is officially hot and bothered. Yeah, carnal pleasures, Yulemas time. All right. Okay. And Dorian's charm is undeniable. But Celaena's still stuck in the emotional maze of what she really wants from him. Her feelings are a swirl of uncertainty and desire. When he holds out his hand and asks her to dance, she can't resist. For a moment, she lets herself escape into the magic of it all. But this is Celaena after all. She might be having fun, but her assassin instincts never truly rest. She's sharp, focused, and still managing to enjoy herself. She is a multitasking queen.
All right, so real quick, I want to talk about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like she's still feeling very conflicted about her feelings.
Very much so.
Because she says that, I don't know what he wants, or I don't know what she wants from him.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she wants from him. She's
but
conflicted.
I think it's still because he's a Haviliard. She's supposed to hate him. She's an assassin. And I think she feels the same way he does, where how can an assassin and a prince ever be together? Again, their whole Romeo and Juliet thing.
How can you decide what you want from someone you're not supposed to actually be with? Everyone's going to be against it anyway, so... All right, now let's talk about the difference between Dorian and Chaol and what we think maybe Chaol feels about seeing Dorian dance away with her during that, like right after that moment.
There's big differences, obviously, between Chaol and Dorian that we know when it comes to their personalities. Dorian is very outgoing. He's a party boy, but that's how he's been trained his whole life. When you're a prince, you're trained in the arts of manipulation and how to talk to people.
You sound self-assured.
Yes, self-assured, royal. He's very confident in himself. That's the biggest one, confidence.
Confidence, there we go.
The real thing that matters is confidence. If you are confident about yourself and who you are as a man or a woman, then that person will vibe with you.
They're going to feel that. They're going to notice that confidence.
What I've noticed from Chaol is he's not showing his confidence. He's confident in his job. He's probably the most badass royal guard ever. 22 years old. But he's not confident when it comes to his emotions and his feelings. He's not.
Or women.
Exactly. So he's not able to open up. And I think that's another reason why Celaena is more drawn to Dorian. So he's been opening up where Chaol's not. He's been staying guarded with everything. That's why she felt it was beautiful when he opened up about the religious experience.
Yes. Okay.
She saw something
that makes sense.
different. Yeah. So
she's getting more glimpses into Chaol, like through that definite hard exterior that he's got going on.
So I feel that when she looks at Chaol, she just doesn't see all of him, and she wants him to open up so badly, and she sees a beautiful person in Chaol, but he's just not opening up. But Dorian's right there opening up, giving her everything that she wants. She's still conflicted, but I think she's just more drawn to Dorian's personality. For sure. Definitely drawn to that. As a woman, am I wrong, right?
No, you're totally right. That would be, he has the confidence that you're looking for. I feel bad for Chaol. He's trying. Dorian just keeps swooping in at the right/wrong moments and kind of ruining it for him. it seems like he's finally got his feet underneath him. He's ready to say something, and bam.
Again, we give Chaol Chip a lot of shit, but I mean, he's a sweet guy. He's just awkward.
Speaking of awkward, is Nehemia sick? Or
Hell no, that girl ain't sick.
Do you think she's planning something?
I think she's definitely planning something, but I think she just doesn't want to get Celaena involved. I think she's trying to keep Celaena out of it because she doesn't want to hurt Celaena.
Do you think something's about to happen now, tonight, at the ball still? Because she just left the ball.
I mean, something is going to happen because we're down to the final four now. The Yulemas Ball is, we're in the middle of the Yulemas Ball right now. So that means right after that is Yulemas, and that's when the king is supposed to come back for the final four. So the king should be coming back as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, the king will be back. Oh,
so that's probably when she's planning something. She's waiting for that son of a bitch to probably come back.
She definitely needs him back,
All
for
right,
sure.
So, I mean, we can file that in tinfoil hat, but I do feel like that's a more likely thing. So that's more like a kiddie pool tinfoil hat, because I feel like she's waiting for the king to come back.
But if the king comes back, he's probably bringing the army with him. So then she's got even more people to contend with.
Yeah. He slaughtered 500 of her people, men, women, children. She's going to kill as many as she can.
But what if she could kill everybody that's there now?
Look, when it comes to war, I guarantee with what she feels, especially after that 500 people being slaughtered, she is desperate. She is desperate to kill that king. She doesn't care who she takes out, because if I were her, I would take out Dorian, the king, the queen, because you don't
take out their line.
Yeah, take out the line and then go and find Holland and take him out, because that's the only way you're going to stop it.
All right. Well, are you ready to turn the page?
Of course. Let's do it. And last but not least, chapter 39.
Love in all the wrong places. Dorian felt like dancing with Celaena was stepping into a dream, one he never wanted to wake from. Aww. The glares of all the women waiting their turn to dance didn't even faze him. He's too caught up in the moment, completely captivated by her.
Oh yeah, he is dead in the moment.
While they dance and flirt, Celaena stays sharp though, her eyes scanning the room, even as she plays along, dances with him. Dorian wants nothing more than to kiss her right then and there, but deep down he knows this is temporary. She is an assassin. He is a prince. At least he's thinking about it logically. Their worlds couldn't be more different. But for tonight, none of that matters. He'll hold on to this fleeting moment for as long as he can.
But poor Chaol. Poor Chaol. He's on the sidelines feeling like Ducky from Pretty in Pink, watching as his best friend dancing with the girl he clearly has feelings for. To make things worse, a douchebag courtier named Otho saunters over just to rub salt in the wound. Is she with the prince? Otho asks. And Chaol, holding on to what little dignity he has left, tells him no. But Otho doesn't let it go because he's an asshole. Leaning in with a sly smirk. Strange, he says, because the way they're looking at each other, it seems like the prince is in love. You can almost hear his heartbreak. Otho to me, he's just a drunk redneck. That's the way I looked at him. So I went with that. He reminded me of like a drunk redneck just being an asshole.
But poor Chaol, his heart breaking. And then he sees it for himself. He sees the way Dorian carries himself around Celaena. Seriously, what the hell does Otho know? The womanizing piece of trash? He can barely keep track of his own conquests. He don't know anything. Still, his words gnaw at Chaol. They're in there now. He's heard him. What about Celaena? Oh, Otho hadn't said anything about her being in love with him. Celaena would never put herself in that position, right? Right? The thought twists in his chest, and before he knows it, the frustration and jealousy become too much to bear. Unable to stand it any longer, he quietly slips out of the ball, leaving the swirling masks and courtly drama behind him.
Well, guess what? Hey, it's Rumpier! And oh, fuck, she is pissed the hell off. Playing her evil stepsister role flawlessly, the jealousy and judgment just radiating off of her.
Of course.
At least her dress and mask look better than Lillian's. With Borrington basically having to take out a second mortgage to pay for it, it better be. The peacock mask does go hard, though. That sounds amazing.
It sounds absolutely gorgeous.
Right?
I want that. Kaltain can't take another second of this fake simpering nonsense with Borrington, though. The very idea of having to kiss him someday,
yep.
Absolutely nauseating. But Lillian is not making this easy. A sharp, fleeting throb of pain, here we go, pulses through her head, like her body is physically rejecting the charade. She's running out of options, and the solution becomes crystal clear. Lillian has to go. One way or another, she'll eliminate her.
All right, so we're talking murder, right?
One way or another, she says. One way or another.
She's physically, pain pulses through her head, so her body...
Maybe it's just a headache.
I think whatever is causing these headaches, it's emotion driven. Tinfoil hat, it's emotion driven.
What if it's like venom and it just overtakes her?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You have Venom Rompier? She does have black hair.
Oh, Venom Rompier.
Hey, Venom Rompier, that'd be awesome. I would totally watch that.
That would be terrifying.
It would be. I mean, she'd be more like Carnage versus Venom. Carnage, because Carnage was a serial killer who got like a little bit of the Venom thing, and he was nasty. Unfortunately, Venom 2 sucked assholes, and they didn't do a damn thing with Carnage like what he does in the comics. I just went full nerd.
Yeah, I love it.
I apologize, everybody.
Love my nerd.
I went full nerd. So we decided to read from the book because you'll see why. So Dorian approached her slowly, halting only a hand's breadth away. You left the ball without saying goodbye, he said, and braced an arm against the wall beside her head. She raised her eyes, examining the black detail on the sleeve that just fell above her hair.
I'm impressed you got up here so quickly and without a pack of court ladies hounding after you. Perhaps you should try your hand at being an assassin.
He shook the hair out of his face. I'm not interested in court ladies, he said thickly, and kissed her.
What?
Kissed her. We got a first kiss. Not just
First
on the cheek, but a real first kiss. Aw.
Oh, let's hear how she describes it, because you certainly didn't want to read it.
Yeah, I was blushing. So I'm going to let Jen take this, because I will blush the hell out of this if I read it. So
All right,
go for
here
it.
we go. His mouth was warm and his lips were smooth, and Celaena lost all sense of time and place as she slowly kissed him back. He pulled away for a moment, looked into her eyes as they opened, and kissed her again. It was different this time, deeper, full of need. Her arms were heavy and light all at once, and the room twirled around and round. She couldn't stop. She liked this, liked being kissed by him, liked the smell and the taste and the feel of him. His arm slipped around her waist, and he held her tightly to him as his lips moved against hers. She put a hand on his shoulder, her fingers digging into the muscle that lay beneath. How different things were between them than when she'd first seen him in Indovir. And cue record scratch. Skirt. Talk about a bucket of cold water on her.
And me.
And yeah, she immediately drops her hand, is like, what? What am I doing? Start questioning her own judgment. She just kissed the crown prince of Adarlan, basically her sworn enemy for life. He leans away to look at her again. He's clearly smitten.
He gave her the look. He pulled back and gave her the look. You
the
know
look for I'm coming in for
That was a
kiss.
look I gave you after our first kiss, even though you were confused as hell when I kissed you.
I was so confused. I really want a mulligan on that still.
I gave you the look, though.
He comes back in for another kiss, but our girl has dried up, basically. She is the Sahara Desert now. She bids him a good night and says, I'm going to bed alone, mister. She does let him give her a good night kiss, though, and is actually disappointed, oddly, that it is over so quickly, and has to open the windows to let the air in to cool her. And her heart is expanding, is how that was worded.
I feel like she loved the kiss, but wasn't ready for more. And I think it has to do with Sam. I don't think she's ready yet.
I think it was the fact that she thought about Indovir and she's like, wait, your dad put me here. Never mind.
Well, that too. We don't know anything about Sam because we haven't read Assassin's Blade, but I feel like he's important to her, like really important. But
yeah, I don't know that he was pushing for to stay over.
No,
or
not like that. What I mean is I think she pulled back a little bit. Like they could have kissed a little bit more is what I mean. Not like full on makeout, but kissed a little bit more. But I think she pulled back a little bit like, oh, I'm not ready for like as much as I want this. I'm not ready yet. That's what
I thought it was because what am I doing kissing my sworn enemy?
I mean, that could be it too. But Dorian, we know how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
He is even more madly in love.
Yes,
Consequences be damned. I don't give a shit if I'm a prince. I don't give a fuck if she's an assassin. He will find a way to make that shit work, and that's fucking love. It's love when you don't give a shit what you are, who you are. If you're in love with someone, you're going to make it work.
Doesn't care what his dad's going to do about it, say about it.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, we are going to quickly change scenes, and I'm going to read this last scene just because it really expresses how Chaol feels. In the garden, the captain of the guard stared up at the young woman's balcony, watching as she waltzed alone, lost in her dreams. But he knew that her thoughts weren't of him. She stopped and stared upward. Even from a distance, he could see the blush upon her cheeks. She seemed young. No, new. It made his chest ache. Still he watched until she sighed and went inside. She never bothered to look below.
Oof.
Very, very small snippets, those last two scenes of this book. And I think SJM did that on purpose to show how all three of them are feeling at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Dorian, he is completely smitten. Chaol, I think she was just showing...
Conflicted.
Not conflicted, sad. Because he saw her from the balcony, saw the blush on her cheek. So he knows that she was smiling, that, she was feeling good. She's looking up at the stars.
And he probably knew that Dorian was up there.
Yeah.
He's the captain of the guard. It's his best friend. He probably knew that Dorian was
But I think
there.
that last line was very important where it said that she never looked down at him. And I know a lot of people are thinking, why would we even expect her to look down? She doesn't even know he's there. But I think that's the point. He feels like she doesn't know he exists.
Ooh,
He
that.
feels like he's invisible to her.
Yeah,
Even though
okay.
he's not. Like, she's tried to say so many times, you're handsome, you're a great guy.
Like, open up. And he's like, no.
I have been in his shoes at probably around his age, and I get how that feels, where you just want to be noticed, but you just don't know how to open up. It is tough for a guy at that age too, because 22 years old, 19 years old, you are extremely emotional mature, especially as a man. So they don't know how to deal with feelings, emotions, open up. Dorian's a little bit better at it just because of his natural personality, but even he struggled for a little bit. Celaena was just very good at getting him to open up because he got her to open up. So he basically just like...
It was reciprocal. Yeah.
Where Chaol just doesn't know how to do it. He's never been taught.
Poor thing. Maybe I'll give him my emotions flip book.
But to me, that's another big thing. Like, Chaol's a great example of men not being taught on how to use their emotions. Like, he was never...
How to express their emotions.
He was never taught that. And he was probably taught, like, you're not a man if you keep your emotions and, if you let your emotions out, you got to keep them in check.
That's an unfortunate byproduct of the patriarchy.
It is. Definitely unfortunate.
Well, now that the Yulemas Ball is over, we now have our final four. So it's like, is that a sports ball reference? Is that why you wrote that in there?
Yeah, I put that in there on purpose because I knew you would like the sports ball reference. So who's our final four?
Celaena, of course. Nox. Oh, Gray Eyes is still with us.
That's not a shocker.
Grave.
Because he's the one doing it still. That's my like Pacific Ocean. Tinfoil hat is Nox is doing it because, let's be honest, it's most likely not Nox. But I'm still leaving that one out there. I was there.
I'm going to be impressed if it's Nox.
From day goddamn one when I met that son of a bitch, I was saying it and I'm not going to let it go, even though I'm like 2% sure now that it's Nox. But I got 2%.
You got 2%
I'm
on
leaning
Nox?
on that 2% that it's Nox.
Okay, all right. And then our final person is Big Daddy Kane. We still have a beast loose in the castle, and there is no help from Elena, Dorian's distant relative. Like, where is she? Where is she? Where are you, Elena? Come give us some more cryptic messages or something. Give us something.
If that's also being cryptic, because we don't know where she's at. That's also being cryptic.
I mean,
like,
has Celaena gone down to the tomb to see if she can make contact that way?
why did she have to? The chick appeared in her room at her feet.
If she wants to make contact, listen, this is that whole, well, you didn't call me. Well, okay, well, the phone works both ways.
She's not a medium. She can't.
I don't know.
I don't know how this works.
I don't know how it works either.
Celaena just shows up.
Well, she was down in the sarcophagus.
Just like the stag just shows up.
Oh, God. Here we are
Everyone
with
just
that.
appears. It's magic. The stag, Elena. But see, Elena's just not appearing anymore.
You were just waiting to say that, weren't you?
Yeah, I waited.
You
I
just
waited till
you
the very
needed
last.
something.
I waited till the very last chapter to get a stag reference in there
Oh, my goodness.
because he appeared.
Mhm.
You know, didn't say it. I'm saying it.
Okay.
You would notice it.
Well, speaking of things appearing and disappearing, we haven't seen much of Nehemia and Kaltain. They're each kind of mysteriously doing their own thing right now.
Yeah,
But
well-
it seems nefarious on both their parts.
Well, I think we kind of know what Nehemia is doing. She is doing something that is going to do, help Elway out.
Revenge, maybe?
Oh, easily revenge. But she also knows a lot about the word marks. She had one in her hand, and somebody's drawing word marks underneath the bed, with the chalk for Celaena's bed. And then Kaltain, the last thing Kaltain just said here, little Miss Rompier, I'm going to eliminate her.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Kaltain's got her mission set now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. We still have a lot to come, don't we?
Yeah.
And all these tinfoil hat theories.
So many unanswered questions. We're hanging out in the tinfoil hat ocean.
Oh, my gosh. Are you ready for he said, she said?
I am. Let's see if I can win again.
I am 0 for 4. All right, folks, it's time for He Said, She Said, the game where we test each other's knowledge of this week's chapters by guessing who said what.
Or more accurately, it's the game where I win because Scott either overthinks it or totally blanks out.
Excuse me? I'm just giving you the illusion of superiority. It's called strategery.
Is that what we're calling it? Anyway, we've each picked 3 quotes, and the other person has to guess who said them. 30 seconds, no hints, no lifelines, maybe some multiple choice if he begs.
And apparently no mercy either. Let's get to it before Genevieve starts drafting her victory speech. You're absolutely going to hate my hard one. You're going to be so mad.
I'm going to love your hard one. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm tired of being 0 for 4.
Aw.
All right. You ready for He Said, She Said?
Yes, I am absolutely ready for this one.
Ladies first, go ahead and start with your easy one. Remember, 30 seconds on the clock after you answer, and I cannot have any lifelines.
Okay. All right. My first one, easy one, is that's unnecessary and would be wholly ineffective.
That's unnecessary
Mhm.
and would be wholly, not like HOLY, but
No.
WH. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Ineffective.
because remember, they did go to temple in one of our chapters.
Yes.
Celaena,
2,
Dorian,
negative.
who?
It's Elena's specter.
Oh my gosh.
It was like-
oh, that's right.
like-
I am terrible at this game, but I'm happy.
I wasn't going to pick it because I was like, there is no way. Because that was, I thought that was a really good one.
Yeah, my brain's been stuck on a love triangle.
Okay.
Most of the chapters have been Chaol's feelings, Dorian's feelings, Celaena's feelings. I totally forgot about Elena completely because she was the first chapter.
And it was the very first thing.
And then she
so
didn't show up after that. I remember she's pissed. She's like, but 3 weeks. Where's she at?
she's been gone. Yeah.
You ready for my easy one?
Yes, I am.
Here we go. What do we do now? We've walked twice around the garden.
That is Dorian to Celaena.
That is correct.
Yes. They are out there. Oh, poor Kale's watching too. He's watching from the balcony, watching them meander around. Close, but not touching.
All right, give me your medium one.
All right, medium. Men will always be silly about such things.
Any woman would have said that because we're silly about everything.
Yes.
However, that sounds like motherly or godmotherly advice. I'm going to say Philippa.
2,
Celaena.
negative.
Who else is she talking to?
It was actually Celaena,
Oh my God.
and she says it to Nehemia.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on page 242.
Wow, that is very motherly advice. That is extremely mature advice for an 18-year-old.
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that they were talking about. It was about Dorian, and she's like, oh, men will be silly about such things. It was right after the kennels.
Oh, okay. All right, you ready for my medium? I'm 0 for 2. You are 1 for 1. Here we go. It's hard to believe someone as disreputable as the Lady Lillian won the heart of the prince.
That is Kaltain to the Duke.
I knew I'd trip you up with this
Oh,
one.
is
It
it
is
the
the exact opposite.
opposite?
Yes,
Oh,
it is
man.
the Duke to Kaltain while she is tripping balls. So I knew you would have a 50-50. That's why I put it medium instead of hard because you at least had a 50-50 shot with that one.
Well played, sir. Very
Thank you.
well played.
All right. Give me your hard one.
I'll give you my hard one.
That's what she said.
I did say that.
Touche.
To what do I owe the pleasure of this unexpected visit? There were lots of unexpected visits.
Every night is an unexpected visit at midnight to 3 a.m.
They just got to make sure that she's not doing assassiny things, maybe. To what do I owe the pleasure of this unexpected visit? And it is not who you think.
I
it is.
know it's not who I think it is. Okay. I'm going to go Chaol to Otho.
No, but
Oh, okay.
that was an interesting guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, Otho shows up and he's being a dick, so I figured that's an unexpected.
That was a good guess. It is actually Kaltain
Okay.
to the Duke
Okay.
when she's tripping.
So the same fun conversation. Got it.
I just didn't get to that part of the conversation because I was like, oh, that's really funny.
So are you ready for my hard one?
I am.
Save a dance for me, will you?
Oh man.
Good luck with this one.
Save a dance for
Save
me.
a dance for me. And we know at least 2 people that wanted to dance with her.
I know. It's clearly at the ball. And did you
Mhm.
just give away who it was said to?
I mean, that's fine. That's
Okay,
obvious.
So to Celaena.
Okay.
Dorian wasn't even talking to her when she got there.
He was with big boobs.
Yeah. Yes, he was with big boobs.
I will not forget that.
And Chaol was not interested in dancing.
Well, he was, but he didn't want to because the Duke and Kaltain and everybody was watching. He said, if the Duke wasn't here, I would have danced. So
That's right. That's right.
So it still could be him. It's very possible. 30 seconds has been way up, but this is too much fun to watch your brain melt. Her brain looks like it's about to explode.
Dorian says it to Celaena.
And that is completely incorrect.
Oh, no.
It is third guard to Celaena.
Oh, that's right.
I knew I'd get you with that one. I was like, this is perfect because everybody wanted to dance with her.
I didn't remember either of them saying it too, so I could not pull it out of anywhere. I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember Dorian saying that because he was dancing with big boobs.
Big boobs. Yeah.
And Chaol wouldn't dance because of what you said. So no, hang on. I got a bonus one for you just to redeem yourself.
Okay.
If you get this one, it's a 2-parter. If you get this one, I'll let you win this whole round.
And then if I get that one, I got one for you. So then I don't win that whole round. So if you get that one, then you win the whole round. So for some reason, neither one of us want to win.
This is like a
let's
double
go for it.
Jeopardy
Yeah,
or
neither
something?
one of us want to win. I just want to keep playing.
Okay. All right. My bonus. Say it.
What?
Say it.
You say it.
Say it.
You say it. It's your quote.
That is the quote.
Well, that's not. What? Is it second guard? I already did third guard.
No.
I'm not even. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting that one.
Oh.
Say it.
Yeah.
Oh, Celaena.
Even with how I said it, say it. Sorry, I can't put on my man voice. Say it.
Oh, is that when he's having her say his name or whatever?
Yay!
Yeah, okay. Does that count?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't
now
put
it's yours.
I was
Now
trying to
it's
put on
yours.
my man
Okay,
voice.
so right now I'm winning.
Yes, winning so far.
However, instead of taking my win, I'm giving you a chance to take back your win, because why not?
I don't understand, but okay.
I had a fourth quote, and I said,
Okay, I'm ready.
will you not even smile on Yulemas? 30 seconds.
Oh, now you impart.
Now I impart the 30-second rule.
Say it again, please.
With a man's voice or a female's voice?
Whichever person said it. Whichever gender said it. Whichever voice you would choose.
you not even smile on Yulemas? It could be his voice.
I don't even know what that was.
I don't know what he sounds like. So it could be his voice or her voice.
You already messed up.
Well, it's fine. You're not going to get it.
I know. Is it like some other random guard? It's Ress. I have no idea.
No, it's not random. It's the main character. Will you not even smile on Yulemas?
Like why? No, I don't know.
It was Chaol
Okay.
to Celaena, because when they first met up and she had ate all the candy and the red teeth, and he was trying to get her to smile. He's like, why aren't you smiling? And then the red teeth.
Yeah. That was good.
Speaking of impressions, are you ready for Assassin's Whisper? Welcome, seekers of secrets, to Assassin's Whisper. I am Obsidian, sharp as a blade, clever as a riddle, and never where you expect me.
And I am Garnet, the shadow you sense but cannot see, and the voice that carries truths only the bold dare to hear.
Together, we are the keepers of whispers, guardians of the secrets of Aurelia, entrusted to pass them on to only the most cunning assassins.
This is your covert briefing, a recap of what has transpired in the world of Aurelia. Pay attention, assassin. The truth is a weapon, and we're here to make sure you wield it well.
Listen carefully, for every whisper could mean survival or demise.
Welcome back, my deadly darlings. The whispers have been waiting for you. This week, the poison test was survived, but not without cost. Our Celaena may have moved on, but poor Pelor didn't fare so well. Survival always demands a price, doesn't it?
Bitter poisons, bitter endings. Yet some things linger even longer than death, like the cryptic words of a ghostly queen, Elena, still playing her little games, whispers of an evil that Celaena must face. But how long does one fight an enemy they can't even name?
And speaking of enemy, have you noticed Cain lately? That hulking brute seems to be growing larger every time we see him. Something unnatural lurks behind his sneers. And after the poison test, was it just me? Or did he look like he was choking on words too dark to speak?
Maybe he's just not a fan of small talk. Or maybe something's eating him alive from the inside. Whatever it is, Cain isn't the only one to keep an eye on. Kaltain has her own brand of venom, her jealousy now sharpened into a deadly blade aimed squarely at Celaena. And those headaches of hers, are they just headaches? Or is she dabbing in something darker?
Darkness seems to run in the king's bloodline. Did you hear the news from Elway? 500 souls massacred in cold blood, all at his command. And yet, Celaena's own trusted friend, Princess Nehemia, remains quiet. Too quiet. Lies slip through her lips as easily as the common tongue she claimed not to know. And that little paper she dropped, marked with word marks? Celaena is watching, but her heart is torn. Can she trust her friend, or has betrayal already taken root?
Russ isn't the only thing in turmoil. Things are heating up with our favorite assassin and the Crown Prince. First kisses are never simple, but theirs came with fireworks and a few sparks of guilt. Because while Dorian might be flying high, there's a certain captain of the guard brooding in the shadows. Love triangles, am I right? Classic.
But let's not forget the moment Celaena stole the show, quite literally, at the Yulemas Ball. Draped in her finest, she pulled off some serious Cinderella vibe. But every ball ends, and midnight is always closer than it seems.
Indeed. The clock is ticking, and danger circles ever closer. Cain grows stronger, Kaltain grows bolder, the king's shadow looms over all. Will Celaena unravel the mysteries or find herself ensnared in the web? Stay sharp, dear listener. The assassin's path is never safe.
Oh, and before you slip back into the shadows, pay attention to next week's Assassin's Whisper. I'll be dropping a clue to help crack the cipher, and for those sharp enough to solve it, a prize awaits, but only a lucky few will claim it. Are you ready to take on the challenge?
Until next time, walk the shadows and trust only the whispers. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Book for Two.
If you're loving the adventure in Throne of Glass so far, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode.
And don't forget to leave us a review. It helps other book lovers find us.
You can also follow us on all socials at Booked for Two Podcast for updates, fun extras, and all things bookish.
New episodes drop every Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Central, so mark your calendars.
If you like to read ahead, keep an eye on our socials. Every Saturday, we'll announce which chapters we're covering in the next episode so you can follow along.
Got questions about this episode, insights to share, or just want to say hi? Stop by for our live Q&A on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central.
Finally, don't forget to pay extra attention to the next episode's Assassin's Whisper. Our very own Keeper of Whispers, Garnet, will be dropping a crucial clue to help you crack our first ever cipher.
Solve the puzzle, and you'll be entered for a chance to win autographed stickers and bookmarks from Jen and I. So pay attention to our socials and get in on the fun. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Secrets, stickers, and bragging rights await.
Until next time, keep turning the page.